very, very much. As I say, a little Redemption Thursday will cure what ails you, right? Let's have a good time on Redemption Thursday. Luke Laux will join us on the Jeff Cameron Show this afternoon. Head basketball man, fresh off a loss to Florida, but a game one at that. One I didn't get a chance to talk about yesterday. I was in Gainesville, went to the game, sat close, had an opportunity to watch this team again, this time where the competition was much stiffer than the previous game that I watched here at the TLC Double C. So interesting to watch that the way that played out. A bit of a heartbreaker there at the end. They had an opportunity, really gutted it out, down 9 at one point late in that game, and gets all the way back to where you're on the free throw line with just over 15 seconds to play with a chance to tie. And, listen, he's going to come on and tell you that there are no moral victories. I know Luke, and I'm sure that's exactly how he feels, but I think deep down he's got to be pretty excited. I'd say this cursory glance before we get into Redemption Thursday, plenty of time to talk basketball, big day yesterday for the basketball program as well. I'd say this. I think you come out of that game more than anything else believing that they have an opportunity to defend better than we thought they could, because they were seriously outmanned in the paint, seriously outmanned in the front court. And you saw it. I will tell you the benefit of being there, and you can tell, I mean, you can look at numbers and see that. You can look at the TV and see it to some extent. But when you're in person up close like that, you can just see how much bigger in the front court Florida is than Florida State. But Florida State's constant willingness to move and really create obstacles for Florida defensively in their efforts to swing the ball and all of that was really, they were a pestering group that was just as relentless on the defensive end as they want to be in playing tempo and volume. So I think he's got to be pretty excited about that. There's a real possibility here that this team gets better and better and better and surprises some people in the ACC as we sit here just a few games into his time.
I'm thrilled with what I saw outside of the outcome the other night, because also Florida is long 1 through 5. I mean, maybe their point guard's a little smaller, but everybody else is super long. They extend out. They challenge the 3. So Florida State was unable to get the 3 ball off early in the possession, which is something that they want to do. It's their credo. They wanted 40-plus three-pointers in this game. You could just tell from the way the pace was being played that wasn't going to be able to happen, so they would have to attack in the paint a little bit more. But if they take away your best option or your first philosophical option offensively, and they dominate you on the glass, which is going to happen to us a little bit, and you're going to get whistled for any time you breathe on them, and I'm not trying to say that it was unfair. I'm just saying that I don't know that it was 2-1 in foul differential for Florida for the whole second half. I don't know that it actually played out that way. The whistles called it that way. So now you're in foul trouble. So you got all these things going against you. And then also Florida goes on that mega run late in the second half when you have the lead. Next thing you know, you're down 9 or 11 or whatever it is, and you fight all the way back. Those losses that I thought were coming against lower tier opponents, we were talking about, I think they might score a mega upset and then a loss where you go, what in the hell?
Still might.
I feel like the floor is a little higher, though, because a lot of things went against them. A lot of things went against them and how they want to play the game, and yet there they were at the end. That's an extremely encouraging sign.
Yeah, I just figured anybody with that much size, 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", in the front court, those are the 3 guys that are in that front court, and, you realize, well, boy, that's going to be a long, tough road to hoe, but yet there they were. So, yeah, I'm encouraged too. The Howell kid for them is a first-round draft pick. Pogo sticks for legs at 6'9". He is something to watch in person because he's got handles to boot. He's got a little something to him. He's nasty. He'll talk to you a little bit. He's got some what for to him. He's a Gator, which makes me sad, but I loved him last year as a freshman, and I'd seen him in person. I'm like, oh, I like that kid's game. He's got a whole lot of get you some to him. He was the one, if you're wondering at home, he was the one constantly dunking.
Well, even in the ACC, rare is the opponent that you're going to find that has that type of length that can challenge you outside the three-point line with such great consistency.
Oh, yeah.
And yet there we were. And I wondered, Lasser asked him the question after the game was over. You got under 20 seconds to go. McRae's got the ball. Do you hold for the last shot or do you attack? And what Luke told him, and the answer was, hey, that's our philosophy earlier in the game. And if it's early in the game, that's what we want to do. It's same thing late. I was wondering, though, in that moment, if maybe we should have held for the last shot. But the way that Florida extended out and challenged the threes, I don't know that you would have gotten a good one off anyway.
You wouldn't have, because you hadn't all game and you weren't making your threes. So it wasn't like there was a guy who was particularly hot from beyond the arc that you could devise a play for, that you say, we're going to get him the ball, he's on a heater. There was nobody like that.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, attacking the basket the way that McCray did the whole game, it was a blow-by situation time and again. That's why he got fouled. He was killing them going to the rim. And I said before this game, and I talked about it when I watched him on Friday, he's not a great three-point shooter. And that kid's got to go to the basket and continue to do that and beat people off the bounce. It's going to create opportunities for other people. But I don't want him shooting a lot of threes. It's not what he does. He doesn't shoot a high percentage from there. And he didn't in this game either. And he had the baseline three late, but it was, that's probably not ideal. But he was the only guy willing to. At that point, it was pretty obvious he was going to be the guy no matter what it was.
But what a great game for him in this sense. That first half was not great at all.
No.
He turned the ball over a ton. I thought the selection on the shots, I know we want to go early, but a lot of them were such low percentage looks. What the hell are you doing? A couple of good baskets mixed in there in the first half. But by the second half, you could tell he had adjusted. He had learned. Yeah. And now, in key moments, he has that to draw back on. They're going to get a first-class education and maybe score a win here in the next 6 weeks against a big-time opponent. But they don't look outmatched, even though they do on the glass. Like I get that we do on the glass, but that's just going to be. That's going to be all year.
Yeah, in fairness, you're right, but they won't play. Florida's one of the biggest teams in the country. Yeah. You're not going to see a team that big every week. Most weeks, you will not. Maybe the biggest team they play all year. But
I think there are some other things that we didn't do well in that game that we will. I kind of concede the glass. Like it just in terms that's going to be one of our warts. And also we had guys with foul trouble. Leger and Steen were in foul trouble like immediately. And in the second half.
Played terrible.
Yeah, that's okay though. This is why you play these games, to be able to learn all that. And I thought also we were bailed out a little bit because Florida got 3-point happy down the stretch, which is if they decided to play inside out, maybe we don't get the opportunity, but good. But good that we sped them up and we got them to play outside of, I think, the way that they were supposed to a couple of times, which was cool.
I'll tell you that I hate that they have to wait, basically a full week from that game to their next game. They'll host Tennessee Martin. That is Coach Hamilton's alma mater. They'll do so on Tuesday at 7 o'clock at the TLC CC. I really would have liked them to be able to turn them around and play this game today or tomorrow because I feel like there's momentum building for basketball. It's the performance, true, but also I think there's a sense that Luke understands what has to be done here from an off-the-court standpoint and an on-the-court standpoint. It's a very attractive style for players to be able to showcase their wares if they're trying to get to the NBA because you're playing an NBA brand of basketball. And so that is clearly resonating when you look at who they just signed. And now one of the things you notice with the players, they have completely bought in. You've got guys that I think week to week, you're going to have, let's say you play 2 games in a week. You're going to have a Leger Jones do what he did. 20 points one night, can't miss from 3 points the next game, struggling from the field. But it's somebody else that gets the opportunity to step up. They create so many chances. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. I think Luke is too. I think obviously when you're a new coach and you come in, and you're trying to, maybe not flip a culture, but change the way you play, and you got to get buy-in, you got to get belief, but you also need it from the fans. And so the only way you get it with fans is, especially with a mundane to sort of banal basketball program over the last 3 years that didn't do anything. So you haven't had a buzz, you haven't had a belief, you haven't had a buy-in from the fans in some time because we were middling at best in Ham's last few years. Now you come in and you try to flip it. You're a guy that had played for Hamilton, so if I'm going to be cynical as a fan and I don't know what I'm getting, I'm looking from afar saying, all right, well, that's great. You were an assistant coach in the NBA and you worked in the front office at Golden State. That's cool. And, I know you played over in Europe. That's great, but you're Ham 2.0, just a lot younger because you played with Ham and you believe all the things Ham believed in and all that until you watch. And then when you watch, you're like, oh, no, this is completely different. They're playing a different game altogether. Then you see that signing class, the early signing class, and you go, all right, what do we have? What's going on here? Am I watching a transition? You are. We hope. Let's see what happens this year. Again, I don't think they're good enough to go out here and compete for the league or anything like that. But I think they could certainly be in the middle to upper half of the league from what we've seen.
Well, and early season results can be a little misleading too,
Sure.
even against a team like Florida, because last year's Florida State team did compete with the
they
Gators
were right there with them, and they
down to the under 4, I think.
Yeah.
Still, they are checking every box in every game, and you see the commitment level. They're not taking any time off. I thought there were times where they got a little bit tired in this game because there was foul trouble, so you had to shrink the rotation a little bit, but then also you had to work a lot harder on defense. We can get up and down the court, but that whole working hard on defense thing, they really had to challenge and scrap and grind, and they did. It's an easy team to root for. Hey, I got my season tickets. I gave them my money. Luke, I gave you my money, my man.
Yeah, you did, and you have a press pass. It's in my car.
I know.
Picked it up for you, so I can give it to you. But yes,
so I got both. But
I'm saying you want to go as a fan and an alumnus,
compelled.
and you want to go and cheer. I get it, man. It's great. And if you don't know, yesterday was a great day for Florida State recruiting in basketball. You got an elite center, and anybody nicknamed Baby Shaq has me excited about the center position moving forward. Marcus Ponder said yes. So did 4-star small forward Colin Paul. So did NBA's legacy Brandon Bass Jr., combo guard. You all right now? You got a little something going here. And there's it's interesting, Tom. There's a couple of things I got to steer clear of right now regarding basketball. I think there's more good news maybe on the horizon. And so we're just got to wait and see, right? We'll just wait and see.
Well, then, okay, to get you off that point before you slip up, I just want to say I really appreciate LeJay Jones trying to cram on Condon, even though he got dismissed.
Yeah.
I love the mentality.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Well, from where I was sitting, you could see that was his intent.
Yeah.
And I was sitting with my buddy Rutt, who played at Florida State under Ham. And we're watching, and we both kind of leaned forward because we realized, like, he's going to try to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's some gumption to have the temerity to decide I'm going to dunk on your ass.
Well, and then after getting rejected thoroughly,
yes,
he found a way. The offense found a way to kick it out and hit a 3.
Yeah.
You know, okay, all right. They got a little bit of pit bull to him. I like it.
Really quick, I'll get to Redemption Thursday wagers in the second segment. I've got them today. They're fun. I wanted to take a moment just to thank all of you guys. I didn't get a chance really to check my social media, my inbox or Twitter or anything like that yesterday. I missed yesterday's show. My wife, I don't think she minds me saying this now, had a mild medical concern that appeared, at least at the moment, to be a problem. Just put it that way. Enough to have the doctor say, hey, you need to go get checked out at the emergency room. So obviously you don't play with that sort of a thing. She was just having some weird symptoms, and I won't get into it. It's nothing. She's fine. She's fine. But we didn't know she was fine in the moment, and it was nerve-wracking. It was scary for a brief time there, but she got a battery of tests and a bunch of stuff done. Anyhow, not to get too much into her personal life, she might get mad at me for that. She's fine now. But what I noticed after I tweeted out that, hey, I was going to miss the show, I had medical concerns with a family member. You guys, a lot of you guys, anyhow, just very nice, kind words from so many people, and well wishes and nice thoughts. And I saw all of them much, much later. And I appreciate that. I just want to say thank you for that. It's funny. You don't think about it, but then when you see a bunch of emails and texts and tweets and messages on Instagram and things like that, it warms your heart a little bit. It's nice to know people are being supportive. So I do appreciate that. My man Shannon Young appreciates the fact that you guys have reached out to him a bunch lately over at loansfornoles.com. And I'm serious about this. This has been awesome. He's been able to help Jeff Cameron Show listeners, fellow Noles, from a variety of places within the 7 states that he services. And it's been cool because they've been able to reach out and say, hey, I heard about you on Cameron, for a long time now. I didn't really need a loan, but then my wife and I decided to do this, and let's talk. And it's worked out really well for the people that have done so. Shannon's now with Cross Country Mortgage. That's better rates for you, better options, stronger support, a faster response. I know Shannon personally is a friend of mine, and he is a really hard worker and an integrity-laden individual, die-hard Nole for sure. And I have no problem vouching for him. This isn't one of those money exchanges, just talk about my business. Shannon's great people. So loansforknowles.com, if you're looking for a hard worker, a smart guy within the business that he runs and the work that he does. Loansforknowles.com. That is loansforknowles.com. Game day in Tallahassee starts with energy, and nothing fuels that spirit like Grassroots Coffee brand new End Zone Blend.
That's right. Every cup of End Zone Blend doesn't just taste incredible. It also supports our Florida State Seminoles football program.
Grassroots Coffee knows it's about commitment and being all in. Every sip of End Zone Blend helps push the program forward, supporting the grind and the climb.
So whether you're at home, have a business, or just getting fired up before kickoff, make End Zone Blend part of your game plan.
Support local and our favorite coffee roaster. Order Grassroots Coffee's End Zone Blend today at grassrootscoffee.com. And let's keep driving the Noles to victory.
It's that easy. Drink Grassroots Coffee and help support the Florida State Seminoles. And don't forget, you can get 15% off your first order at grassrootscoffee.com.
Grassroots Coffee's brand new End Zone Blend.
Grassroots Coffee.
Made for everyone.
Loved everywhere.
Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, got to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
This time of year, we enjoy spending time outdoors in this beautiful North Florida climate until the mosquito attack begins.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control can help you take your yard back. We have an affordable program to help keep mosquitoes away, and our program even helps with other pests like ticks.
Mosquitoes are a nuisance to you, and by carrying diseases such as heartworms, they can be harmful to your pets.
Learn more about how Paul's can help protect you, your family, and your pets from mosquitoes. For the elimination of termites, pests like mosquitoes,
and a greener lawn too,
call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Do you want to take your yard back by having a green and pest-free lawn?
At Paul's, we understand the unique needs of your North Florida lawn, which is why we developed a program to address those concerns.
Our treatment program includes inspection, treatment, and education on best practices for optimized results while remaining environmentally conscious. An added benefit is that our lawn treatment is flea suppression, so having a greener lawn can help protect your pets too. For a greener lawn and the elimination of fleas too,
call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Life doesn't slow down after 55. It just changes. The moments may look different, but they matter just as much. Maybe you're celebrating family milestones or taking that trip you've always promised yourself. At Capital Health Plan Center for Healthy Aging, your My Vitality plan helps you stay ready for it all with personalized care and support built around what matters most to you. Because there's still so much ahead. Call 850-399-9039 to learn more.
God gave us two ends, one to think with and one to sit on. Success in life depends on which one you use. Heads, you win. Tails, you lose. Hi, I'm Rick Hughes, host of The Flatline. Heard every Sunday morning here at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 Tallahassee Real Talk Station. Come join me 30 minutes of motivation, inspiration, and some education as I seek to reveal God's plan by teaching 10 unique problem-solving devices. Every Sunday morning, 7:30 a.m., 93.3 Real Talk Tallahassee.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Jesse J, FSU equals basketball school. Appreciate the contribution, Jesse J. Tony, did FSU hit on the b-ball coach with how they look in that signing class? I know it's early, but maybe. Yeah, I think so. I was very out front and excited about the idea of Luke Laux coming here. I'll tell you the reason why. The resume itself was maybe not all that impressive. Like, you weren't going to look at that and say, look what he's done in the college basketball world. Like, you couldn't do that at all. He hadn't done anything. So you would get a little nervous about it, even if you were just going on how much coaching experience he has. You would say, not a ton. There are many other candidates that have a lot more that's applicable here. But what he did have, I think, was a great experience in the front office with Golden State, and that is widely considered to be one of the great organizations in sports. The way it's run. We know something about this because we've been fortunate. We root for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they have been recipients of many awards and praise for how their business was run for a very, very long time and what they've done in the community and how they built that thing. And it's nothing short of amazing. Your sister worked for the Lightning. You know firsthand just what a class act that organization is. Well, that's the way Golden State is viewed. And so not only was he being mentored and learning in a great NBA organization, but he was learning from the best organization in the sport. And then from there, got into coaching with those caliber coaches, right? Was building his resume very quickly to the point where he coached in the summer league for an NBA team. I mean, that's doing some things, right? He obviously showed the acumen. The X's and O's were not going to be an issue for him. And I've known Luke since he was a player here. He's incredibly charismatic. He's a seller. He can sell his wares, his team, and he loves Florida State because he obviously played here, cares deeply about the program. So you would have his buy-in to this, what this is. And if you come here to coach, you got to understand you've got one arm tied behind your back. For what you're competing against, you have to be willing to accept that you're not going to have the funds necessary to be an elite program. You're going to have to find other ways to be an elite program because the goals are still the goals. You still want to be elite. You still want to win. You still want to strive for championships. It's just that you won't be able to do it in the way that North Carolina and Duke does. They can throw $20 million at a roster. Kentucky, who just got housed by Louisville the other night, same night that Florida State and Florida played. By the way, that freshman for Louisville ain't no joke. Sprinkle a little futures money on Louisville. That's a squad right there. Anyhow, they handled Kentucky without a problem. But that's $23 million, that roster for Kentucky. I don't know what Louisville's paying theirs, but I'm sure it's not nothing because that freshman's a superstar. So,
and it is the state of Kentucky.
Right. So you got to know you don't have that. So what I wanted was somebody who didn't resent it, who understood it, who was recently in the culture, understood the deal here and what could be done to circumnavigate that. You needed a guy who could be charismatic to talk to money people and say, look, we're only getting this percentage for rev share, which, by the way, last I checked, is the lowest in the Power Four, just so you know. It's nonsense. They're getting nothing. They're getting
lowest in Power Sports?
Power Four.
Man, oh, man.
It'll hurt your feelings. So they're not getting any money from the rev share because right now we're pouring all of our money into football to lose every Saturday. But they realized, like he realized early on, I'm going to have to be very creative.
Well, it's that and Miles Bailey, right?
Right. There it is. Well, you should pay Miles Bailey a lot of money.
Yeah,
he's a very, very good player. But yeah, so you don't, that's what it is. And I wanted somebody who could hit the ground running with the understanding of what the, not just what the goals are, but what you're up against in trying to reach those goals. And I felt like he was a perfect candidate for that reason. Look, he's got a long way to go, and if he doesn't win games, we'll rip him like we do every other coach who doesn't win games. And he knows that. I think coaches all know that really deep down. The interesting thing is, I bring it back to football for a second. You can tell, and it makes me sad for him in this one realm, this one arena, and that's it. That's all. And believe me, it doesn't mean I don't want change. I do. But you could tell Mike Norvell knows he deserves to be fired.
Yeah.
Every time Mike Norvell talks, especially before he's had a little coaching after that pathetic post-game performance after Clemson, where he was sheepish and whispering his answers, like, I think he knows, like, what am I even doing here? Why am I still employed? You guys, I mean, I have failed this every which way to Sunday.
Yeah, well, those post-game press conferences are the proof that he knows he should be fired. The Stanford one
Right.
looked different.
Well, this last one where he's whispering answers is pathetic.
It's not sure that we know, it's good,
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
Am I cold for not being sad?
No, I'm not sad. I'm not driving around like fighting back tears. I'm saying that sucks, man. It's got to be terrible to know that, look, The conclusion has been drawn. We all know what has to happen here. We know what time it is. We all know what time it is.
It is past time. That's what time it is.
He knows what time it is. And yet you're required to do those interviews. You're required to have the media availability. You're required to answer those questions. If you're walking around as a dead man and you know it and you know it's deserved, it's got to be tough to act emboldened. And I think it's tough, man. It's an awful lot. Like, go out there and get him, coach. We all know you failed. We all know this thing's a wrap.
Yeah, you're going to take that hill one way or the other.
I mean, it's
been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, but here we go.
Yeah.
You're heading in that direction. We're going to head this way. Appreciate you.
Hamburger Hill. My poor guy's just like, all right, boys, we're the first wave. It's a math equation.
Yeah.
This is going to be tough. Yeah.
Except it didn't have to be, but
well,
I promised I wouldn't do it this week. I said I wouldn't do it.
We are not relitigating. All right, Redemption Thursday.
What if they lose out? Sorry, I figured I'd take the other approach.
Yeah, well, they could. They absolutely could. I think there's a better chance of that than winning out for sure. Although they're hefty favorites this weekend. Good God. If I were to bet against Florida State at any point, I would have when it was minus 14.5. It's 14 now, I think. I saw as low as 13.5. That's a big difference.
This game is much like last year's North Carolina game. Do you care? Truth serum. They're going to run the ball. They're physical. They'll break out misdirection stuff. If you don't care and you don't have the focus to go along with the physicality, they're going to run for 300 yards on you this weekend. If you do, they're going to run for far fewer than 300 yards, and you should be in command of this game. But we're back to that place. When we go to Indigo this weekend, 4:00 on a Saturday.
Let's go.
What were we asked, and what did we say last time? You think they can win? Well, if they show up and they care, they can win. Same thing this weekend. However, this specific rushing offense requires everybody to do their job and to be locked in. And I thought they were against Clemson. They're going to need that again. And if they don't have it, then it's going to be obvious, because Virginia Tech will make it obvious that we don't care to be there.
I hate that I don't care to be there.
You're not what? You weren't invited to the Loge?
Oh, I was. I may go sit in the Loge. We'll see. But I don't care about the game. Doesn't matter.
Bowl. You could argue that bowl practices matter, and so for the next guy,
run by this guy.
For the next guy, do you want those 15 or do you not? I'd say yes. So let's go get those. That'd be nice. One final parting gift.
No, I don't need it. I don't need it. It's just pitiful what we're dealing with here. Pitiful, I tell you. All right, let's get to. You're gonna flash up the screen with me and Martha. I'm giddy. Martha's nonplussed. There's an ATM that you can see through the bottom of.
You can see through the bottom of it?
Well, you've got the ATM there, and I see stacks of cash at the bottom of the ATM like it's transparent.
No, it's like a vending machine. That's all.
Yeah, but I know. It's just I like this ATM. It wouldn't last long, but I like it. Here we are. We took a pretty conservative approach this week. I felt like the lines were, unfortunately, get this late in the season, they're pretty spot on most of the time. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, I went under 51. That'll be a nobody cares to be there football game. Let's take the under. Let's hope we get some inclement weather out there at Oklahoma State. Texas A&M minus 19 against South Carolina. I am high on this Texas A&M team. I think they're very good, and we know that South Carolina is not. They are not very good. Southern Cal, Iowa had an emotional game, a very physical game. I think they'll have a letdown in this game. Give me Southern Cal, who still has a chance to make the playoff, to thump Iowa and lay the 6.5. Wisconsin getting 28.5. They're fresh off of back-to-back decent performances, including a win. I don't think they're any good at all, but they're catching 28.5. Indiana is a little beat up, emotional after the game they had against Penn State. I think they just kind of go through the motions and win comfortably by 24, 21, 24, something like that. Give me the 28 and a hook. for Wisconsin to hang in there. Minnesota is not good. They are competent. And for the same reasons that I talked about Iowa, I'm going to talk about Oregon. A little beat up. Just got done playing a very physical game. Minnesota is competent. 25.5 is a lot, man. That's a lot. I'll take the big number. BYU over TCU. I was high on TCU earlier this year. I'm less so now. BYU can't lose again. I'll lay the 4.5. They're still in the playoff running. Georgia and Texas. I felt like Texas has been a bit of a fraud all year long. Georgia will win by a touchdown or more. I'll lay the 6.5. And then I routinely bet against Miami anytime they're laying double digits at home in a stadium that's half empty. And this one will be again. Give me NC State, who always plays hard and is well coached, unlike Miami. Miami will win. I'll take the 14.5. In the NFL, Houston minus 6.5 against Tennessee. Tennessee's incompetent. Dolphins minus 2.5 against the Commanders. Commanders beat to hell. Dolphins, don't look now, Dolphins fans. But after the upset of Buffalo, you are in a position, and you're just like last year's team. You play the Commanders, who are done. You play the Jets. You play another bum. I can't remember which now. I just remember glancing at it earlier. You got a chance to win 4 straight games, counting that Buffalo game. And what would that be? Well, you'd be 6-7. You'd be 6-7, man.
Yeah. No, here's great news for Dolphins fans. You can say to yourself in a few months' time, with the 11th pick in the first round of the NFL
you're
draft.
Screwing yourself left and right. You are screwing yourself left and right. But, they could be within a game of 500, and all of a sudden, some things have to break right, obviously, and I don't think they will. But that's just like the Dolphins to go ahead and fool around and get to within a game of being 500 and for what?
You guys are getting Brad Childress. There you go. 9th pick, 13th pick, 10th pick. Good for you.
It's a toughie. Anyhow, those are the wagers. Wager accordingly. If you're going against me for charity, that's what we do. We deliver food based on the head-to-head wagers. I ask you to be on the honor code. If you're taking a game, either send me the email that you took it or send Tom the email that you took it. Either way, so that we can see, and I'll count the boxes of whatever it is I'm going to donate, usually cereal. There are places that need your help. So that's the way we work Redemption Thursday around here. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV.
Our local news now.
A woman is behind bars after... News update brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 75. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows dip down to about 48. Highs around 76 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Lots of sunshine and dry Saturday and Sunday with highs in the upper 70s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawns.com. Currently 71.
Where is the best place to find Michelin, Firestone, Dunlop, Goodyear, and Bridgestone tires? Nice Tire and Auto Service. Where's the best full-service auto center? Nice Tire and Auto Service. They do everything from computerized alignments to brakes, tune-ups, and safety inspections. Where can you get complete auto service you can trust? That's easy. Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy? I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
But they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Great day to be here. Redemption Thursday. Every day is a good day to be here. Appreciate you being here as well. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. And, of course, find the show and anything you may miss during it on the pod. You can find it, obviously, on our YouTube feed here. Lots of ways to get the Jeff Cameron Show. And I am pleased that you do. As we continue to grow, it helps us do what we do. You kind folks. I'll tell you, you're right, Ronaldo, and I want to talk about that really quickly. Did you see the video today of Ethan Pritchard?
Wonderful.
It is wonderful, to say the least. It is something that'll cloud your eyes a little bit when you see that young man wheeling out of the rehabilitation center hospital there. That is really, really cool to see. Tom, I don't know the answer to some questions that I got regarding this. Is he unable to walk? Do we know at this time?
I do not know.
Tom has pulled it up. For those of you driving around, you won't know what I'm referencing, but for those that are in the chat and watching on Warchant TV, Tom has pulled up the video of Ethan being able to come out, ring the bell, and he looks great, relatively speaking. Obviously, this is an elite athlete you don't want to see in a wheelchair, but given the circumstances and what happened, you're really happy to see this video. So he appears alert and appears, cognitively anyhow. I mean, obviously he knows what's going on around him. He's able to maneuver the wheelchair by himself. He's able to ring the bell. He reaches around and talks to somebody that's there. So that's a real good sign. I bring all these things up, not in a patronizing way, but because he was shot in the head. And, you wonder these things. You wonder cognitively, are you going to be back to what you were, or can he be? Is he on his road to that? Is that back already? If so, that's amazing. You can see the full upper body mobility, as you just pointed out, live spectator. That, too, is amazing. Lower body, not as much. I just don't know if the diagnosis is that he will continue to progress and have a chance to walk again. And I don't know the answer to that question. So I throw it out there. Some of you in the chat have known a lot and followed closely with this story. Some of you, I do believe, on past episodes of the show here are either close to the family or family members of some kind, because they knew a lot about the treatment. They knew a lot about what was coming next. So if you know the answer to what I'm asking here, please let me share that with the audience, and please share that if you guys are comfortable with the chat here, because we're all just rooting for him and really, really hoping that we see a full recovery. That would seem to be against all odds. It'd be amazing.
Want to give Stuart Moore, WESH, credit for the video, and he'll have apparently an interview with Ethan Pritchard tonight on their local news channel
in Orlando.
And,
right?
Yeah. Again, WESH.
Florida State grad who's been covering this story very closely. Yes.
Yeah. So you might get some answers at that point. But what I would say is, I recall in part of the recovery process, it was he opened his eyes, and then it was he could move extremities, and then it was cognitive activity. And what you saw today was, as you're saying, somebody who is completely aware of what's going on in the room, the magnitude of the moment. He looked for people to hug.
Yeah, he did.
It's just really encouraging. And I don't know what the prognosis is for full mobility, but that he's come this far is an incredibly good sign that he's on a very fortunate path. And I'm so glad that the story has gone this way, because I can tell you that the night that it happened, got a couple of phone calls, and it did not sound great I mean, obviously somebody shot in the head. That never sounds good at all. But I just remember talking with Ira that night, talking with a couple of people close to the program that night. I randomly got a call on that one. And that we are here from there. You just exhale and you go, yes, all right. Sometimes things work out and they make you smile. And this is one of those times.
Well, the guy, I think it certainly probably helped that he was in an elite physical shape and, his body has to fight so much. It always helps if you are in that kind of shape. And good for him. And good on the doctors who helped make this possible. And anybody that performed any sort of procedure, that's just remarkable. We really appreciate seeing that. And it made my day, by the way. I was like, well, there you go. Nothing bad's going to happen today because I just saw that. Sometimes you just see little things and you're like, oh, well, what was I worried about this? I got this paneling on the side of the house.
I'm telling you. Yeah, they put a lot of things in perspective where you are returned to your proper place of perspective. And one of those videos that was just so heartwarming is years ago. I still never forget it. This is now going on 10 and a half years ago. It was January 2015 when Florida State was out for the Rose Bowl. Remember when Peyton, the super fan Peyton?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. With Jimbo in there.
And he walked.
Yeah, and he walked.
Man.
Oh, buddy, you can't watch that video around people. Holy moly, that video.
It just, yeah.
Why'd you bring that up, Tommy? God, dog.
Well, because I was thinking of things that put life in perspective and make you feel energized and thankful that great things and good moments like that can happen.
I forgot about that video until you said it, buddy. My goodness gracious. Yeah, that was one where I remember as soon as it started, I went, okay, there's no way I can watch this around other people.
Everybody's clapping. All the players are clapping. Yeah, man, that's special. It's you don't want any negative circumstances to create a positive moment, but when you get something like this, it's something worth celebrating. And I think we're not done with Ethan Pritchard and moments of celebration.
No.
This has been amazing, and I think it's just another step.
It's been upwardly mobile. The trajectory has been very, very good. All right, so tonight we kind of Troy and Old Dominion testing the boundaries, buddy. I try.
You get one tomorrow, though.
Well, you get
some
Clemson.
ACC.
Yeah, you get Clemson, Louisville, and you get Minnesota, Oregon.
That's not bad. That's got a pulse for a Friday.
Clemson, Louisville has pulse. It has a pulse. You're right. Oregon will beat Minnesota. I have a feeling that game will be a little closer than that number. So
I agree.
But
maybe a little Friday twofer, a little Friday parlay.
I don't know. I'm trying to. You know what I'm doing? I'm trying like the Dickens, Tom. I'm telling you, I'm trying hard to appreciate two things. Every day that it happens, I try to do it. So we're in the midst of that run of days in which there is a football game on every day. So, for example, last night was Buffalo and Central Michigan, Northern Illinois and UMass. By the way, how bad does UMass suck? Northern Illinois is awful, and that game ended 45-3 in favor of Northern Illinois. UMass must just be historically sorry.
Take out the M.
Golly, just UAss is right. That's
right.
A toughie. Toledo, Miami of Ohio ended up 24-3. I'm trying to appreciate the days we have left in college football. And two things make it very difficult. Games like Old Dominion, Troy, and Florida State football.
I was going to say, I know what the second one is.
Florida State football pisses me off, and I have to let it not get in the way of my love of football. Because I tend to, when I think of football, I think of Florida State because I love Florida State. I want good things for Florida State. Florida State is like a beautiful child that you've sent off into the world. And even though they're grown and they have to fend for themselves, you never stop caring. You never stop wondering if they're okay. You never stop looking for signs to that end. The problem is the overt signs are that Florida State is addicted to drugs. So here I am. I'm calling Florida State on the regular going, how are things going? Is everything all right? And Florida State is saying, Dad, I'm doing well. But I know Florida State's lying to me. Because I see Florida State, they make their weekend appearance. They swing on by the house. Or they're at somebody's house that I know, and I call ahead and ask, how'd Florida State look? They go, well, I don't know. I don't think Florida State's getting a lot of sleep. I'm like, looking haggard, not looking as good as they should. They've lost a little weight. I tried to talk to him, but you may need to place another call, Dad. All right. I'll talk to him. I just need to know what he's on. I mean, is it the serious stuff? Are we talking about fentanyl here, or are we talking about, he's not leading a salubrious lifestyle. He's staying out a little late. He's out with his boys a little too often. He's not taking care of business. Or is it something much more serious where we have to engage in an intervention? That's what Florida State does to me. I see him, and I just drive around the rest of the day sad about Florida State and how Florida State's meandered off the path yet again. And it's not the first time that Florida State has opted into sketchy behavior. We've caught Florida State in the past, and that's why we're always mindful of Florida State falling off the wagon again. We see Florida State looking good, like, oh, look, it's so good to see you, Florida. Come here, a big hug. So talk to me. Yeah, well, eating better helps. You got to eat well. You look great. You're getting some sleep. How much weight have you lost? You're putting on a little muscle too, I noticed. Oh, buddy, keep it going. I'm so happy to see you. It was so good. You can parlay that thing against Alabama into a great year, and maybe we've turned the corner. Maybe it's just something, but I'll see you next Saturday. We'll talk some more. Proud of you, Florida State. And then the next thing you know, you're like talking to your wife. Did you think Florida State was drunk when they came by? Did you think? I couldn't. Maybe high, gummies. I couldn't tell, but he didn't seem right. Something was a little off.
He told me that thing about the dog last week,
Yeah,
and
repeating himself.
I don't think he knew he told me that.
I let it pass, but
so that means that either last time he didn't know what he was saying, or this time he didn't know what he was saying.
I'm a little worried about him. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Call some folks that he's around frequently and see what we find out. And then the next time you see Florida State, you're like, oh, no, I've seen this before. We just can't keep it together. When do I have to intervene? When is it that I need to step in and tell Florida State that this isn't going to end well?
I think it's now, because it's 9:45 on a Tuesday at a gas station. He's walking out with 2 giant black bags.
Nobody knows why that's funny. But
well, it's really not, actually.
Well,
it's not funny at all.
But it's a real life thing that happened from the person I knew. But
it's not funny.
But
this is a serious conversation.
So now I'm like, golly, Florida State. We're going to start seeing weird texts at all hours of the night from Florida State. We're going to see an Instagram video that causes grave concern. They're going to tweet something they regret, and they're going to take it down. You're going to be, what is Florida State? It's like the last time we saw Florida State when they were engaged in illicit behavior. They tweeted out the photo on Martin Luther King Day of just do something with the gloves, and you're like, oh, they're drunk again.
The vapor flies. He's doing the chop. Yeah.
Like, no, they're on the drugs again.
Yeah, you see a video about it's not worth it at all on Instagram. Why is this on my feed? It's because Florida State liked the video.
And you're like, Florida State, you can't
like that. Liked by Florida State and 3,000 others.
Other people can see what you like. I'm going to call him right now. I got to call him and let him know. Damn it, Florida State.
I see you're active, Florida State. Your status says active now. Don't ignore me. Call.
It's troubling. It's troubling, I tell you. So that's what's ruining football for me on Saturdays, is that my fear of Florida State stepping in it again is going to distract me from the overall joy of the family get-together. I'm going to be talking to Mark over by the grill. And Mark's going to tell that I'm not attentive to whatever the story is Mark's telling me because I'm looking over his shoulder at Florida State to see if they're keeping it together. I'm listening, Mark. Are you? I don't think you need one. You're good. You know, it's one of those things. Mark's turning around. Florida State's looking up at me. You're good. Why don't you get some more food? Go inside and get you some more food.
There's ginger ale in the fridge.
Just ginger ale in the fridge. Oh, man. My friends at T-Spark Enterprises, I will tell you if I could read the copy. I'm going blind, everybody. It's happening again. It's the second wave of blindness. It was like 20 years ago that I was studying the newspaper before a show when all of a sudden, as I was reading, I went, oh, my Jesus, I got to pull this like 5 feet from my face. I can't read this thing. I've been good ever since. Got glasses, but it's all right. Got these contacts. Good to go. Last 2 weeks, Tom.
Uh-oh.
Off a cliff.
Well, I do know that T-Spark offers bath remodels or room remodels for either residential or commercial properties from my post-game reads.
Well, just give them a call, 850. I can't read it. TSparkConstruction.com.
There you go. It has the information.
What you do. TSparkConstruction.com.
Got the license numbers?
Yeah. CGC 1525336, CCC 1331204. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
This is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. You've probably heard the saying, marry the house, date the rate. Here's what that means. If you love the home, do not wait on the perfect interest rate. You can always refinance later, and I can help you plan for that from day one. In fact, a lot of homeowners I worked with last year are refinancing right now and saving hundreds each month. Others are using the equity in their homes to invest, buying second homes or rental properties that are already building wealth. So whether you're looking to lower your monthly payment, get cash out, or start an investment portfolio, let's talk strategy. I'll walk you through your options and find the smartest financial move for where you are right now. You can find me at loansforknowles.com. That's loansforknowles.com. You can reach me at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. I'm Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage, and I want to help give you the keys to your next opportunity.
And here come the leaves, thousands of them, falling fast, covering every inch of the yard. But wait, who's this rushing in? It's the Lawn Johns with the ultimate fall cleanup blitz. From clearing leaves to fresh pine straw and mulch, the Lawn Johns dominate the field, your yard, so you can focus on what matters. Grilling, chilling, and cheering on your team. Don't let leaves sack your game day fun. Call the Lawn Johns today and win the battle of the backyard. The Lawn Johns, your lawn, our game.
Craving something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food. It's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín. Authentic Peruvian. Right around the corner.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel-tip boards and soft-tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Magic winners last night. They beat the New York Knicks 124-107. Franz Wagner had 28 points and 9 rebounds as Orlando moves to 6-6. Miami Heat fell short at home against the Cavaliers 130-116. Norman Powell had 27 points in the loss. The Miami Heat dropped to 7-5. Tampa Bay Lightning were roughed up by the Rangers last night at home, 7-3, the final score. The Lightning will play at Florida tomorrow. The Panthers are in action tonight when they host the Washington Capitals. Sunday in the NFL, the Dolphins play the Commanders in Spain. The Buccaneers head to Buffalo to play the Bills, and the Jaguars will host the Chargers. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm John Thayer, Real Talk 93.3.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor, or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Feeling sluggish? Wake up your body the right way with Vigor. The all-new Vigor Cold Plunge Tub from Hot Spring Spas is now available exclusively at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Boost circulation, reduce inflammation, sharpen your focus, and more. Elite athletes do it daily, and now you can too. Experience the power of cold therapy in your own home. Come see the Vigor Cold Plunge, available only at Pinch a Penny on Capitol Circle Northeast and Greer Road.
Budget Blinds of Tallahassee is your local window covering experts. They do it all: blinds, shades, drapery, shutters, even home automation. And they'll be there with you from the design to the measuring to the installation. Budget Blinds is with you every step of the way.
Hello, I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds of Tallahassee. Let us help you with your unique window treatment needs. Call us at 668-4835 for a free in-home consultation, or find us online at budgetblinds.com/Tallahassee.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon there is one every few weeks. That's why the Seventh Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, Seventh Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The Seventh Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachie Parkway, just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I live.
As long as I live.
My first call-up ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going out to drop water on the fires.
Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Every child deserves a chance to live their best life and celebrate every moment. When you support St. Jude, you help give kids with cancer around the world that chance. Together, we can save more lives. Finding cures, saving children. Visit stjude.org.
Here's a deep thought. What if the hokey pokey really is what it's all about? You're listening to Real Talk 93.3. Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
us this hour. Now, they've got practice, so it's kind of a floating time. We think somewhere in the neighborhood of 2:30, 2:40-ish, something like that. So bear with us. It's, he's making time, getting done with practice, and then going to hop on the StreamYard and join us. You'll see his image there in picture. So it's not just going to be a phoner. We think we got the StreamYard link sent out, so we should be good to go there. Look forward to it. I think he's got to be happy about a lot of things and a little frustrated about a couple things, but all in all, we're all looking forward to more basketball. That's a good sign. That's a really positive sign. You guys are talking about Red Dog and Zima in the chat. It tells me that football is very much dead around these parts.
I never had a Red Dog, but as a kid, those commercials worked on me because they advertised during hockey a lot. And I always liked that little pug or bulldog or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah, I didn't love Red Dog. I didn't love Ice House. I didn't love Zima. I didn't love a lot of those things. Now, two of those were beers, and the other one was not. It's the predecessor to all of the fruity drinks you get now with the sparkling drinks of choice.
But you enjoy a high
seltzers.
noon.
There's a seltzer here and there. On a hot day after mowing a lawn, that grapefruit high noon is tasty. I'll pound one of those out there by the mailbox as I'm doing a little bit of artistry.
As long as it isn't which one? Which one do we not like? Because that's the one when we go out, we play Capital. That's
the watermelon.
The water, that's what it is.
Well, there's 3 or 4 flavors that aren't any good at all.
The pineapple's quite
delicious.
Good. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's delicious. The
key lime is fantastic, but it's hard to find.
Yeah. Pineapple's delicious. Grapefruit's my favorite.
Guava.
Pretty solid,
good.
Pretty solid.
Passion fruit, good.
Passion fruit, good.
Yeah.
Hot days where we've been out golfing together and you're at the turn, you're like, ooh, I need a little refreshment here.
You need ice with it.
Oh, yeah.
That makes the difference. Takes a little bit of the sweet out of it.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. The problem, James B, with Ice House and anybody else who's lobbying on behalf of Ice House is if you had more than 3, you had a headache for 4 days. It was something to behold. And being who I was at that time when Ice House existed and was all the rage, I was certainly going to have more than 3 if offered. You ever go to one of those parties where the keg was Ice House?
Hosted one.
No thanks.
And that
not
was
what you do.
Once and one time only because the keg looked cool. It was matted for a finish and it was black in hue instead of the bulky, scratchy metal keg. And so we thought, all right, what the heck? It's $40.
Let's give it a go.
Nope. This is a big mistake. Huge mistake.
People were sick.
Yeah.
That's a toughie.
And when in your 20s, if you get a headache, you've really done some things.
Yes, because if you've trained right, you can really do anything.
You can.
You can almost do anything. Yeah. It's amazing. The thought of it now, Tom, it's just like, oh, you shudder. You can't do it.
Well, you had superpowers back in
you
those
did.
days.
You just, 3 hours later, you're like, here we go. Here we go.
Good morning, fellas. Let's do it.
No chance now, man. No chance now. Not like that. Not going to go out like that. I didn't finish my thought, which was that I'm trying not to let Florida State's poor football program cause me to have me to sour on the overall football love that I have. So I have to push it away in all of my anger and lock into the games that remain. We're running out of them. Secondly, cool weather. I vowed this year that when we got cool weather, I was going to embrace and love every second of said cool weather because we don't get enough days of cold or cool weather. And so this little cold snap that came sweeping in out of nowhere for 2 days was a thing of beauty. My neighborhood was filled with old people going, this is terrible. And me going, oh, isn't it lovely? Janet, how are you? Good to see you. How about this cold? I was just an a-hole.
Staring up at the sky and it says, embrace me as my son.
And I did. I'm out there walking the dogs at 5:30, seeing my breath going, hell yes. This is what it's about, baby. Embrace this cold.
Well, you can also embrace that there are a lot of stakes. This is the fun part about having the playoff is that more teams have more at stake in the month of November.
The pros and cons of what we've done with college football. One of the pros for sure is that more teams have an opportunity to be playing meaningful games right now, despite previous setbacks in the year. There are teams fighting for playoff spots. For example, I am locked in on South Florida at Navy at noon.
It's a playoff game.
It basically is. Florida being the highest ranked of the group of 6, they got a chance. I mean, South Florida, that is. And if USF is to knock off Navy, and that's a good Navy team, 7-2, I do believe.
That's correct.
Then, they got a real shot here.
You got Notre Dame and Pitt. That is also a playoff game, noon window.
Potential. Yeah, it is.
Well, it's an elimination game. How about I rephrase? It's an elimination
Notre Dame
game.
loses, they're out. Pitt loses, they're out. Yeah. Big game.
Oklahoma, Alabama, elimination game for Oklahoma, that's for sure. That's in the 3:30 window. NC State, Miami. For Miami, that's an elimination game.
It is.
Georgia Tech, BC.
Oh, I'd say Southern Cal, Iowa. Georgia Tech, BC is not.
It exists. The game just exists.
I just glossed on over and moved to Iowa, USC.
That's the fourth one in your 4-game little montage there.
I'm going straight to 3:30, and I'm talking about Iowa and Southern Cal.
Yeah, elimination game.
Yes. Not much else in that window for a while.
No, 7 o'clock, Ole Miss. Lane can't possibly lose that one, but still, there's danger there. You don't want to be losing to Florida in that situation.
Well, no, you don't. That would be problematic.
Texas, Georgia, not quite elimination, but for Texas it probably is.
100% is. They haven't lost to Florida.
Yeah.
F them eternally.
I would put them at 7-3.
Yeah,
sure.
they're gone.
Well, I was looking at Georgia when I was saying that because it's not an elimination game for Georgia.
No, it's not an elimination game for Georgia. It is an elimination
As
game
Joe
for
Tess
Texas.
is going to let you know on a different broadcast this weekend.
No, Texas, look, man, this is a funny thing about the playoff, though, and the committee, which, once again, I have a problem with. But for Texas, you don't, listen, that loss to Ohio State is by 7 to start the year. You now wear that as a badge of honor. You're now like, hey, listen, we lost to Ohio State by 7 points. Ohio State, arguably the best team in the country. Okay, not a bad loss. The problem for you, Texas, is you effed around and lost to a 3-win Florida team. So your wiggle room is nil. You lose that game, we call it a day. Get the hell up out of here. No matter how much the committee wants to be on their knees for the SEC. And they do. But it's no, man. That's
this program's playoff life is in your hands, committee.
It's frustrating. But Texas, by the way, will lose to Texas A&M at the end of the year anyhow. So if you want them out of there, you got your chance still, even if they beat Georgia, which I don't think they're going to do. Hence my Redemption Thursday wager of Georgia minus 6.5.
Quickly, because I did the Pacino thing, I was thinking about this. I saw recently enough of The Godfather 3 on television.
It's not as bad as you remember it, is it? It's pretty decent.
Certain parts are.
That's a take that I have that not a lot of people agree with. It's not terrible, Tom.
It was the coda. It wasn't the original 3. But there are some parts that are worse than I remembered. Now, you're correct. I don't think it's the total train wreck that Godfather purists would have you believe. But
listen, what happened was, and this happens a lot. This is the easiest example.
It's because the opera scene saves it all. The opera scene is quite good.
But this is a good analogy, I do believe. And it happens all the time. You get an album from a band that you love, a band that has been spectacular, inarguable. These 3 records are amazing.
Yep, Neil Diamond.
Front to back, great records. And then they come out with a horrible album. It's an experimental effort. They were bored with their genre. They tried something different, and they didn't pull it off. And they get panned in a way that's almost uncomfortable. It's like the effort of the reviewer is to discredit the other 3 great records because this one is so bad. And what ends up happening is you're comparing that record to those 3 masterpieces and not just of itself. So unto itself. So when years go by, one day you're bored and you're scrolling through and that artist pops up. You're like, oh man, I remember this record came out in 92. What an album. And then this one was 95 and I was living in Texas. That was remember that concert? And then you do it. God, I haven't listened to this in years. This was terrible if I remember correctly. And you try that one the one that is separate from the others. And as you're driving around town that week, giving it another shot, you're like, it's just not that bad.
I kind of get it.
I see what they were trying to do. It's not as good as these three, but it's not awful.
Now that I'm 15 years older.
If this were a band and I had never heard of them and they came out with this record, I wouldn't be like, well, they can't play. I would just, I'd be like, okay, it's whatever. That's that Godfather. It's like, look, man, by way of comparison to the other Godfathers.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do that.
Well, yeah, and also the dialogue. Like they didn't have anybody to help them with the dialogue, and it's very different. There's not much layer to it. It just is, and it's in front of you. But as its own movie, you'd be like, you know what?
It's whatever.
It wasn't a total waste of time.
No. If we weren't comparing it to Godfather 1 and 2.
Also, one thing I think that's happening, I know it's happening to me, but I think it's happening to all of us, is because now we have these wonderful shows in the streaming era, or the binge era probably is more accurate because it predates streaming. When you watch a movie, it's hard because it is a Cliff's Notes version of some of the best things that we've watched the last 10 or 15 years. You race through the plot. I'm so used to the slow burn of a 7-year, 12-episode-a-season series that it's like, oh, well, I just barely invested in this guy. And the movie's, he's dead. The movie's over. I'm finding that movies are losing their luster a little bit because there's no slow burn to it.
No, there's 3 really good ones out right now. So you slow your roll with that. We'll get you straightened out. We'll get you moving.
You straighten my brother out?
We're gonna get this. No, Michael Hall, I am not saying that Mike Norvell will be FSU's Godfather 3 because I'm off of him completely. We're done. There's no amount of revisionist history or re-listening or watching these seasons with him it's going to help frame him in a different light. There was that one time that he fell into a transformative player that went on to win Rookie of the Year. You fell into a portal giant. More than one. And you had a great season. Other than that, grand opening, grand closing. Just a whole lot of, come on, man.
I'm trying to think of a movie that has one amazing scene, and that's the only thing that it can stand on. The one I have in my head would be inappropriate at this time to share, though.
Well, then hold it. I would tell you that I was not a fan of the movie Any Given Sunday. The speech in the locker room.
Okay,
phenomenal.
Far better than what I was going to say.
There you go.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And it rightfully is played over and over and over
again. It's awesome. It's great because it's also him. That's the hard part. You're like, oh, you're telling on yourself, are you? That's impressive because it really is him in terms of the life that he's led.
The one thing that makes me, though, is the guy with the eye black whose eyes are like this and he's shaking as he's listening to Al because he's so fired up by what he's saying. That always makes me smile.
You're right. 10-3, 2022. After those losses mounted and we were able to transition and win the rest of the games, and I, at that time, predicted they would win the rest of those games. You're right. That, to me, was the culmination of something that was, being built, and you could witness the climb, guys. The climb was happening in that moment, and you were bearing witness to the climb, and you were right there with him climbing, and it felt good. That 10-3 made you go, yeah, we are climbing. We're almost there. We've almost reached the summit. Let's go.
Even that bowl game was pretty entertaining against Oklahoma. Both teams cared enough to be there to make that a good bowl game.
I was at that game with my boys. It was a great time. Stopped at this little bar on the way to open air bar that was feeding people drinks on their way to the stadium in the criminal-ridden neighborhood that is that bowl area there. And I had one of the best beers I've ever had. It was a to-go cup. I can't remember the name of it, and I've been longing to find out.
Fraunhofer?
It was delicious. I don't know if I was just adequately thirsty or what, but I told everybody to stop. I grabbed the beer. Just a little suds action on the way into the game, Tommy. That's all I needed. We had a long walk, and they had the open air. The garage was up. I was like, I'm going to have me one. Did. It was delicious.
That's the way I feel about and long for the Lone Star. And I'll tell you what's pretty close to the Lone Star is the one we had in Pittsburgh, Steel City.
You like the Steel City. Yeah, it's a fine beer. It's what it is.
It was just perfect for the situation.
It's pretty warm at the game in Pittsburgh,
yes, it
all
was.
three. So, we needed those. Yeah.
It met the moment perfectly. So I long for that type of a beer, yes. But I couldn't say if it was what you had, like a craft beer. I'm assuming it's just a light beer.
No, mine was a craft beer. I was only having one, and I went with a craft beer, and it was delicious. I don't know.
Tangerine wheat?
No, it was not a tangerine wheat. It was not. But it was delicious, and I enjoyed it. And now I can't remember the name of it. And somebody who lives near the stadium there in Orlando can say, yeah, that's Mike and Earl's beer. They're great.
It was a Shock Top, Jeff.
No, it was not.
You remember we always used to get the Shock Top with the Fire Rock?
Way back in the day.
And it was like, you and Millar would be like, here, take home the Shock Top. I'd be like,
so Fire Rock is one of my favorite beers. You can't get it here anymore. I got to ask Spartano to bring it to me from Hawaii the next time he comes. They won't let me order it. I can't get it. You can get every other one of their beers, but you can't get that. Doesn't make any sense.
Do they still make it over there?
I'm sure they do.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good beer.
Fire Rock's delicious. And so the Fire Rock used to be in the Publix everywhere. You can't get it anymore. You get all their other stuff, Kona, but you don't get that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want the other stuff. I want the Fire Rock.
The distributors, I guess they couldn't push any Shock Top, but they wanted us really badly to have it. So every time I went on the beer run for you guys in the van,
every time you get the Shock Top,
it's like, here, you have the Shock Top. Or I'd be like, here you go.
Here's your Shock Top. Okay. I'm going to keep the Fire Rock, guys, if you don't mind.
I really wish I could take this to the gas station and sell it to them for a 4-pack of Tall Boys. Be like, you're going to profit off of this.
Yeah.
Just trade. Give me a trade.
All right, so Luke will be with us shortly. We're not exactly sure. 2:30, 2:38, 2:37, 2:40, somewhere in there. Again, Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
A holiday meal is more than food. It's family gathered close, the joy of laughter, and the comfort of knowing you belong. But for too many of our neighbors, that tradition feels out of reach. ABC 27 Gives Back needs your help feeding our neighbors. The annual turkey drive benefiting Second Harvest kicks off November 17th with frozen turkey drop-offs November 20th. Your generosity ensures families across the Big Bend can share a Thanksgiving meal together. Go to WTXL.tv to help families in need.
What makes Paul's Termite and Pest Control the best in North Florida?
It's our core values, of course, and they happen to spell Paul's.
P, protecting you and your pets from pests and your property from termites.
A, accept personal responsibility. At Paul's, we realize it's up to us to get things right and strive to do more than's expected.
U, uphold company values. Those values include treating others with respect and understanding we represent Paul's Pest Control on and off the clock.
L, look the part. As representatives of this great company, we will always make sure that our image matches the character of Paul's.
S, support the team. Every job we do is a total team effort to create a supportive workplace.
P, protecting you, your pets, and your property. A, accept personal responsibility. U, uphold company values. L, look the part. S, support the team. Paul's core values. They make us the best.
For the elimination of termites and other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
This is G. Deckeroff. In 1979, my friend Guy Moore opened his first store. Over 45 years later, Garnet & Gold is still providing the Seminole Nation with unique ways to show their spirit. As the last locally owned FSU merchandise source in Tallahassee, we're proud to be a part of the Florida State experience and this community. If you're a Seminole like me, this is your store. Guard it in gold. Go Noles.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachia Parkway.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Tom posted them there. We can post them back up here as those picks are, and feel good about it. I do think we're at a place right now where Vegas is on top of these odds, and you have to look for, props and unders and overs and things of that ilk. It's tougher. I like to, for the purposes of the show, oftentimes pick a side. It's a little bit more fun, I think, for the average gambler or better. So that's why I do what I do there. But yeah, I'm angling a lot of different ways. By the way, I also tried, and it is impossible, Tom, because I don't know if I've been burned by what happened last week where the game was such a stinker. Thursday night football in the NFL is a travesty. They need to not play these Thursday night football games. I know we've grown accustomed to them, but it's ugly. The games are ugly. I think, we all know why. As the season goes on, the wear and tear is awful lot for teams to deal with in a short week. And you just see the level of play is poor. It's just poor. And the reason I bring that up at all is that when you're doing some of these props that I like to do each week for us to watch a Thursday night football game, is that it's getting harder and harder. It was better early. It's harder now to get a gauge how the game's going to be played at all.
It's not just the wear and tear, so the coaches account for that by vanillaing up their game plan to do the best they can, but get out of Dodge in one piece. And you can tell that it's not a fully schemed up, installed game. It's played as an afterthought. Or the game on the Sunday prior is one that is disjointed because they're saving their bullets for the Thursday night. Because the Thursday night game might have a conference consequence or a division consequence. Like the Bucs play next month, a month from now, December 11th, Thursday night against the Falcons. Short week. I mean, could you imagine if Atlanta actually won some football games and that was for the division and they're playing on a short week? That's got to stop, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I hate it. I really hate it. I was trying to come together with the same game for tonight, but the game is so bad. You got, it's Jets Patriots for those that don't know. I was like, okay, well, we could do a same game parlay with Drake May, 2+ passing touchdowns. What do I do with Justin Fields? Let's look at rushing yardage. I mean, because, you're not going to bet a passing prop with Justin Fields.
Well, I don't know if the math works on this, but with 32 teams, if you had a second bye week for everybody, can you schedule it out so there's never a team playing on a short week? Can you work a second bye so that everybody's A-okay and they're not playing on a short week? And if you could do that and bump it up to 18 games,
well, they're going to do that.
But I'm just saying, if you install that second bye, I mean, we're already stretching into February anyway. So, yeah, I think that's a situation where if the math works, give me Thursday night football, but allow both teams to have 10 days rest and preparation for it, because then that product is going to be awesome on a Thursday night.
Well, yeah.
It won't be terrible, and the game is shrunk down to 80% of the possessions that you usually see because both coaches know I've got a bunch of guys that are banged up. This could be a mash unit if I play this game to the hilt.
I'm not going to lie to the folks. I did find one.
Of course you did.
I found a Hunter Henry 3+ receptions, Brees Hall 2+ receptions, and Mac Hollins 3+ receptions. That's an alt reception total for all three. I married them, and I got it at plus 191.
So I got 3 legs for under 2 to 1, huh? All right.
Well, these seem like slam dunks, Tom.
Yeah.
It's not gambling at all.
That's right. It's not 3 coin flips.
I just handed out some winners right there is what I did.
It's 3 rolls of the dice, and I got 1 through 4 covered. They're all me.
That's the prop right there, buddy. I got you. We found a Jeff's co-op for you, but it's not easy. I looked at a couple of others. Travion Henderson. You could do an alt rushing and receiving total of 80 with Brees Hall. Alt rushing and receiving at 60+.
Okay.
The problem is, man, I could just picture Brees Hall running for like 57 yards and freaking Fields not hitting him once out of the backfield for anything. And I'm just sitting there going, you can't place your trust in Justin Fields. You know he sucks. What are you doing?
I thought for sure a Fields under proposition was a part of your package.
They make it so difficult. They know. 4 receptions. You know, can he complete 4 passes? You're like, I don't know. I'd like to go over there. He is a professional quarterback. I just don't know.
I was looking for some Prop Joe sound bites to integrate into your co-op. Quotes about the co-op.
Yeah.
And I went down a Prop Joe rabbit hole, and there's some classic scenes, especially the basketball game when you're introduced to him and he's wearing the suit and he gets made fun of. You looking like Pat Riley out here for? It's 100 degrees out here. Why are you in a suit?
Did you, by the way, happen to see, and I'll just comment on this because I had somebody email me about it. ESPN, I think it was Bill Connolly, rated all the quarterbacks through every game this season and where they're ranked from a QBR standpoint, a success rate standpoint, and all that. Did you see that? Every college quarterback.
I did not. I know where Tommy came in, but I did not see the list.
36,
mid 30s, upper 30s. Yeah.
Wasn't good, Tom.
No.
Wasn't good. But somebody asked me the other day during headlines, and I've seen an email to this end as well in my personal inbox where they were like, well, as bad as this has been, as frustrating as this has been, do you feel like, that you could get Tommy back next year if he's healthy? And I'm like, I just stop people right. I'm like, well, why? Why? And it's troubling. I hear there's a contingent of people who are like, yeah, well, you can run him back. It'll be the second year in the new system. And no. I don't want to run back any of this. I don't want to run back any of this. I don't. Can you imagine the just the listlessness, the lethargy in this fan base if we run this back again next year? I mean, imagine, just propose that to somebody. Like, hey, no changes, running it back.
Yeah, you got to dip into the portal, go grab 4 or 5 new starters on the O-line and probably a starting receiver that you're going to target 80% of the time, and you hope for that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
and if Tommy wanted, like, can you imagine you pay that guy $800,000 to be your quarterback?
Yeah.
No, man. I'm gonna give you $50.
Right, on the hope that he doesn't get hurt again. Yeah.
No, and when he's healthy, he's
all
over the map.
I really believe that if he does not get rolled up on in game 2, your record is significantly better than it is now. I think that's fair to say.
Probably.
But it was always destined to happen. No matter if he was rolled up on in the pocket or not. And that's where I'll leave the second point for later. But if we had a passer this year, we also would have a significantly better record because our competition has had deficiencies in the secondary consistently each week. You're saying, well, you could take advantage of them down the field. Quite the shame that we don't have a guy who can take advantage of it down the field.
Brutal. Let's transition. And that is the hope. That is the hope. Do we got audio still? No, we're working on it. All right. Let's bring in Florida State basketball coach Luke Laux, and we'll get to asking him about what he thinks because he's now had 2 really significant tests. Is he there? There he is. Luke,
what's up, fellas?
Good, man. Good. Look at the office. Looking good there. How was practice?
It was good. It was it got a little feisty. What I like, man. It was competitive. We had a day off yesterday. We had a really good film session a couple hours ago, and then we started getting after it, and the boys were rowdy today. It's what I like to see after a loss. They got after it. I actually cut it short because I was so pleased with their fight and their willingness to do what we asked them to do in film. So we finished up about 25 minutes earlier than expected, which is almost never happens. So I'm a happy camper right now.
I got you on a good day. That's good to hear. I got a quick question for you on this. I mean, it's a big picture thing now. What do you know now about your team having faced Bama and Florida that you didn't know before this stretch?
Yeah, not much. It's about what I expected. I thought we're a little deficient in a couple areas in terms of size and strength on the interior. But I put this team together to play fast. I put this team together to get up and down and shoot a lot of threes. And to me, I brought a lot of competitive dudes in this building that will scrap with anyone, regardless of the circumstances. So even though Alabama was a preseason game, that was our first test against a big time opponent. Obviously the next few games were against smaller teams on the lower major level. And I thought we did a really good job against those teams, growing and learning and set some records in the process. But going to Florida, at Florida in their backyard, coming off a national championship, they're well coached, they're tough, they're physical, they play the right way. For us to come down to a 1-possession game, anyone can go home with the win. I thought we competed at a high level. We scrapped. I really liked our effort. There's quite a few things we need to clean up in terms of our execution, which we saw on film today. But to me, we should have walked out of there with a win, and our guys felt it. But I'm not a big believer in shoulda, coulda, wouldas. You got to get the job done. We get judged on wins and losses, but it encouraging nonetheless to compete with the big boys, and our guys believe, man. I believe in them. Our guys believe we can line up with anyone in the country, and it's going to go down to the wire.
Luke, to that end, you talk about the defense. I think if going into that game, and I was there in attendance, that's a rowdy place, obviously. Our guys didn't look flustered at all, handled the noise, handled the fact that they're right on top of the floor, all of that with flying colors. But if I had told anybody who cares about Florida State that the rebound domination was going to be 58-36 in favor of Florida, and that, you were still going to be in the game with a chance to win. As you said, shooting a free throw down 1 with 15 seconds to play. That speaks to this defense, how hard they worked. You held Florida to 39% shooting, 6 of 31 from beyond the arc. That's 19.4%. You forced 18 turnovers in this basketball game. It was that effort that gave you a chance to win the game. I don't know that any of us expected to go into that game and really come out hailing the defense as the reason we were in it. You got to be happy about that.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, and you said it. You never want to get out rebounded. You certainly don't want to get out rebounded by 20 plus. But we gave up some offensive boards, which obviously we need to clean up. Some of that was just due to their size. They're if not the biggest, one of the biggest teams in the country. They're 3, 4, and 5 spots, and their backup 3, 4, and 5 spots. We did some things tactically that I didn't like in terms of we allowed them to get rebounding position consistently, which did not help our size efficiency. But we also defensively we want to speed teams up. We want to turn them over, which helps the possession battle. And it didn't make it quite even, but it was pretty darn close between them out rebounding us and us turning them over. So defensively, we're going to speed teams up. We're going to trap. We're going to blitz. We're going to fly around. And teams are going to feel uncomfortable. Even when we don't turn them over, it rattles you when you have consistent and constant ball pressure and you don't know where the trap's coming from. And then you get an open shot and you're all off balance and out of rhythm, and that's by design. But I liked our defense. I certainly liked our effort. But I still feel like, and maybe I'm delusional, I feel like we got a lot of room to grow and a lot of areas to clean up on both sides of the ball. And I'm hoping against any team we play, we can walk out on the road with some of those close games in our favor.
You had a hell of a day yesterday. Before I get to it and talk to you about Colin Powell and Marcus Ponder and Brandon Bass, I have a question for you because I don't know what happened. And so here you go. And you may tell me I can't answer that, Jeff. Just know that going in, all right? So I'm watching this thing from the angle that I'm at. And if you recall, McCray shooting his 1-and-1 prior to shooting the second free throw. The free throw, after the first free throw, the ref comes in and makes a comment to Kobe about something. Well, after we missed, the bench was, from what I could tell, pretty pissed. And I don't know if I'm really formulating a question here as much as I'm asking you, what happened there? What was it that pissed everybody off about that interaction?
I'm not sure. I'll tell you if I knew. I'm not sure. And I'll ask the team tomorrow. I didn't see that happen. And I possibly didn't see that happen because a lot of times during our free throws, I stare down at their bench to see what they're calling. And so I may have missed that. And I'll ask and I'll text you when I find out. But I was probably looking down at Todd and his staff to see what they were going to do, see if they're going to call a timeout, see what play they're calling so that I can adjust my defense if I need to sub, if I need to bring in a defensive sub, if they're going to play it out. So I missed that. I didn't see the ref even say anything to Kobe. That's interesting. But and I told the guys going in the game, and I don't think the refs cost us that game by any means, but we should never expect to have a favorable whistle on the road. Just go in expecting, the worst, and regardless of what happens, we gotta be better than the opponent, and sometimes better than any circumstances that come our way. So even if it was something wild that he said, I hope our guys remain composed and McCray, either way, he's got to make that free throw, and he knows it, and he was beating himself up after the game. And I said, listen, Rob, I would go down with you in that scenario 10 times out of 10. My senior point guard on the line with the game on the line is sign me up. I'm good, and I have trust and full confidence that he's going to knock those down next game.
Yeah, no, he was a warrior in this game. And at the end of the game, I do wonder, was that more a byproduct where he had the ball in his hands? He is a veteran. He can score the basketball. He was blowing past defenders all night long. But I wonder, as a coach, if you would have liked to have seen maybe a couple of other people be options that you felt good about there and not just have Rob be the guy who has to get it done.
Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about in film. We had somewhere between 8 and 10 clips of us playing ISO ball. Now, at times, especially if you got a mismatch, I'm going to allow some of it if you feel like you got an advantage and get by your opponent. But our offense is based on ball movement and sharing the ball and creating for each other, regardless of what time it is in the game. And so we always want to create shots for each other. It's one of our staples offensively. We want to touch the paint, collapse the defense. Part of their defensive game plan was once we got in the paint to spread out and try to deny all those passes to the perimeter and just guard us one-on-one with their size at the rim, which they did a pretty good job of. But I thought we folded a little bit too much into the hero ball and ISO ball. Obviously, it got going for Rob in the second half, which was great and kept us in the game. But we in the first half is where a lot of those opportunities just with, listen, if you got a mismatch on you, say I'm a guard and I got a big on me, your instinct is to give me the ball and let me ISO him, right? The better thing to do is get that big in off-ball scenarios he's not used to, whether it's a split cut or a random double screen off ball where you got a cutter going in the basket, another guy pinning for someone coming up, and put them in multiple actions off the ball. Because eventually and inevitably, they're going to mess up all of those communications because they're not used to guarding off the ball like that. But our instinct took over, and I got to do a better job as a coach, not just coaching in timeouts, but coaching through the game of when you get that mismatch, don't get the ball back immediately, go set another screen, go cut, get some movement back and forth. And I just felt like we gave into the ISO ball a little bit too much, and it really bogged down our offense. It wasn't a terrible offensive game, but we only ended up with 7 assists, which is not not nearly enough. And a lot of our shots were off balance because we were just trying to play one-on-one all night.
All right, let's talk about the guys. I know you finally can. I'll let you lead the way. We saw yesterday that, I asked the question early on when you were out big game hunting, and we talked about your approach and your pitch and what you were telling kids and recruiting, because at the time we were hearing about the Marcus Ponders of the world and the Brandon Bass Juniors of the world, and we're like, how in the world are we going to get them to FSU? The whole world wants those guys. And then you told me how, and you told me you felt good about it. And I kept wondering, well, when's the other shoe going to drop? Is somebody going to swoop in here and steal these guys? And they didn't. So congrats, first of all, and tell our audience about these players that have committed to Florida State.
Yeah, I appreciate it. For our first full recruiting cycle, I'm really excited. And I shared some of those sentiments with you of, like other teams are calling and they're offering a lot more money than us. And we got to continue to get more support to build this the right way. But the reality is at Florida State, we can offer a few things that not a lot of other schools can offer in terms of the way we develop guys and prepare them for the NBA. Most of our staff is coming from the NBA. So we know what it takes, not only to get to the NBA, because we've been a part of draft workouts, interviews, combine, all that. We've done this at that level that they're trying to get to. But also once you're in the NBA, you want to stick. And that comes from the way you train, the way you eat, the way you sleep, all of it, even outside the court. And then obviously the play style, right? And all of those things, we're bringing some of those professional aspects to Florida State with our play style. And I show clips to our guys all the time. Here's what you're running. Go watch the NBA games tonight. They're running the exact same. They're calling it the same thing. Like we are preparing you guys for professional basketball with our play style. But the next part is, the player development approach. Every coach talks about it, and very few coaches live by it. We actually have individual player development plans for every single player. We care about their individual development, even as the season's going on. We have over an hour a day where we don't practice as a team for that hour. We have time slots of you get your individual time slot with a couple coaches, and you work on what you need to work on. And for every guy, that's something different. And so through all of that, you can attract some players that quote unquote probably wouldn't come to you otherwise. And that's how we ended up with 3 guys that I'm super excited about, 3 top 100 guys. I'm not a big rankings guy, but by all accounts, they're ranked. To me, they're ranked because they're really good players. And more importantly than the ranking, they fit with what we're trying to do. Obviously starting with Ponder, he's one of the biggest humans on earth. And I texted him after the game. I texted him and said, we could have used you last night, big fella. And he said, I know, I was watching. He is just massive. He's got a crazy combination of size, length, athleticism, power that you just don't see in high school kids too often. And he's really going to help us interiorly with rebounding and rim protection, and on the offensive side with setting great screens and rolling to the rim and cleaning up everything around the basket. I really think he could be an NBA player one day with the right development. So that was a huge get. We had some real close connections with Ponder. He plays for the Gillian Academy right now. I happen to have an assistant coach on my staff named Gerald Gillian. That always helps when he's wearing the last name of one of my staff members. So he plays for one of our staff members' brothers, who I've known the Gillian family since I was 14 years old. So obviously that relationship helped. But then just his desire to come in, and contribute from day one, which a lot of coaches don't play a freshman. I don't mind playing freshmen if they're going to help me win. And I think he can help us win. So all of those things obviously helped us with big fella Marcus Ponder, who we're really excited about. And then go down the list. Colin Paul, to me, is one of the most versatile players in the country. As a high school kid, he can play pretty much every position. He's almost 6'9", but he can bring the ball up the court. He's your quote unquote old school Leonard Hamilton type of guy. When Coach Hamilton was winning at a high level, you think about like the Terrence Mann and the Scotty Barnes and all those guys that are massive, but they can handle and they can pass and they can shoot and they can guard multiple positions 1 through 5. And he fits that mold, and he's coming off an ACL. He was at the NBA Players Association Top 100 camp, tore his ACL in early June. So he'll be at full strength. We're really happy with his recovery and rehab, but we're super excited about his versatility. And then lastly, Brandon Bass, the son of Brandon Bass, the NBA player, played almost 14 years in the NBA. But Brandon plays nothing like his pops. His pops was like an old school power forward, really tough. And Brandon is a spread the floor shooting guard, one of the best shooters in the country. And obviously, if you guys watch us play, we need all the shooting we can get with how we're playing. To me, he's one of the purest shooters in the country. And we beat out some really good schools for him, including Purdue, who was really coming after him hard. But Brandon again wanted to play in an NBA system. He thinks he can play in the NBA one day, and I don't disagree with him. He's got to keep developing. But at 6'4", 6'5", I mean, the kid, every time he shoots it, you think it's going in, and a lot of times it does. So super excited about those three, all top 100 guys. First time in a long time we've done that. One of the best classes in history. And then obviously we're waiting on one more that's a dual sport guy that I can't comment on right now until he signs on the football signing day. But we're thrilled. We're thrilled. We think this is a foundational class to help us turn the corner and get back to our winning ways.
Final thing, I'll let you go. You've been really kind with your time, and this has been informative. I love it. I love that our listeners are learning more about your program every time you come on. I hate that performance, and we came up just short, but and I know you don't believe in moral victories, but I think a lot of the fans were encouraged and excited by what they've seen in games. I know the exhibition game was what it was against Alabama, but we're right there. You have a chance to steal one from the defending national champions in their house on Tuesday. Fans are curious. They're excited. Do you hate that you have to wait a week between games? Would you rather play today or tomorrow? It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. I know all of that, but I feel like there was a real buzz right after that game, and I was kind of bummed that we didn't have a home game like today.
Yeah, Jeff, it's the worst. I'm used to playing 3-4 games a week, coming from the NBA, where it's hey, if you come up short, you got another one coming, and if you win a great game, you got another one coming. Doesn't matter. And I shouldn't be saying that as a coach, because I know we love to practice and we love to get things right and drill it and teach it. But I wish more than anything we had a game tonight so we get back out there. I can feel the excitement in the community. I can feel the excitement in our fan base, and they should have high expectations for us, because I think, I don't care who we play, I think we're going to win every game, and our players believe that too. I don't care if we're playing teams with 4 or 5 times the amount of money. Line them up. Let's see what you got. And I know our guys feel that. We're competitors, and it is tough to wait another week to get going again. But that's what I signed up for, coming to college basketball. So I'm going to embrace it, and we're going to have some good practices, and we're going to get better.
Get back to work, brother. Appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for making time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yep. Luke Laux, head basketball coach, Florida State University. Kind enough to spend a lot of time with us here this hour. We appreciate that very much. We got to go to break. We'll come back and react to that momentarily.
Your local news now.
A marked Tallahassee Police Department vehicle collided with a vehicle Tuesday afternoon while it... Talk 93.3 local news update brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 75. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows dip down to about 47. 76 tomorrow. Sunny skies. Dry Saturday and Sunday under sunny skies with highs in the upper 70s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com.
currently 74.
As we get older, health starts to mean more. It's not just about adding years. It's about making every year feel good. That's why Capital Health Plan created the Center for Healthy Aging, where care is centered around what matters most to you. Through your personalized My Vitality plan, adults 55 and up get one-on-one guidance for strength, nutrition, and lifelong wellness so you can stay active and confident in every stage of life. Call 850-854-8566 to learn more.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
But they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Thanks to Luke Laux. A real quick segment here. We plowed through the assigned break because, well, when you have the head basketball coach on, you want to talk to him. And he was willing to talk, had a lot to say. It was nice. And we'll react to some more of that next hour. I do want to clarify something I saw here. Some folks in the chat I saw earlier were mentioning that the Battle's Inn doesn't help out or isn't helping out other programs. They do. They absolutely help out this basketball program, just so you know, and baseball and golf and others. So they do. Obviously, their primary mission is to make sure football has what it needs. But, yes, they do absolutely delve into the other ones as well. Hour number 3 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV.
Just a call away.
222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too.
222-7722. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
Fall is here, and that means it's time to make sure your home is ready for the season ahead. At Parker Services AC and Electrical, a peak performance membership keeps your comfort systems running at their best year-round. Members enjoy priority scheduling, exclusive discounts, and seasonal tune-ups that help identify small problems before they turn into big repairs. Don't wait until your heater has issues. Call Parker Services today and ask about peak performance membership.
Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
License number CMC 050334, EC130121440.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Craving something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food. It's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín, authentic Peruvian, right around the corner.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
WVFD Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
Gators at Von Hemingway Stadium against Ole Miss on Saturday as a 15.5-point underdog. The total 54.5. Florida State, a 2-touchdown home favorite with Virginia Tech, 54.5 the total at Doak Campbell Stadium. South Florida visits Navy at Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis as a 10.5-point road favorite, 64.5 the total. The projected college football playoff would have Florida at number 12 as the playoff started this week. Jacksonville Jaguars, a 3-point underdog at home with the Los Angeles Chargers, 43.5 the total Sunday at Everbank Stadium. Score $500 in rewards at the G-Bank First Bet VSiN Trifecta. Details at vsin.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.
These individuals, these
Real
players.
Talk 93.3.
Lowe's knows that saving is always top of mind, especially this season. That's why we've picked some great deals for early Black Friday. Get free select DeWalt, Cobalt, or Craftsman tools when you buy a select battery or combo kit. More tools? Why not? Plus, we've got select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees starting at $59.98 because it's never too early to think Christmas. Get Black Friday prices without the crowds. Lowe's, we help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. On the go.
Introducing Harry's Plus. Oh, I've told you about Harry's razors before. Here's a little bit of the shaving cream they sent me. Thank you. Sent to the beeper. Also, Harry's got the travel pack razor. I got the Harry's in the back bathroom. I got the Harry's for my kids. What are we talking about? Well, they're high school kids. One of them's a senior. He needed a good razor. Harry spent 10 years developing their most advanced razor yet, an entire decade of R&D for the smoothest possible shave. And I can attest to that because I shave every morning with Harry's. And you won't find a better blade. And I've tried all of them. Refined blade technology. I could tell you about that. I could talk to you about the quality, the barbershop quality shave. Feels like almost like a straight razor. It's unbelievable. And their razors still cost less than Gillette Fusion, which is crazy. So you get this premium shave without this exorbitant price. Risk-free trial right now. If you don't love your shave, Harry's will make it right. No questions asked. Here's what you do, guys. For a limited time, our listeners can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/warchant. Get you a Harry's razor. The set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, one refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming shaving gel. Got that too. Yeah. And travel cover to protect your blades when you go on the road. Just head to harrys.com/warchant to claim this offer. And after you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support this show, the Jeff Cameron Show. Support Warchant. Tell them that we sent you. That's right. harrys.com/warchant.
Waterproofing systems that don't fail. Because when you live with discipline, water doesn't stand a chance. Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing. Visit guttersolutions.net. With us, it's personal. A roof isn't decoration. It's your home's first line of defense. At GSWP Roofing, we treat every build like it's mission critical. We're GAF Master Elite certified, led by a former Marine. And we don't cut corners. We execute with discipline, precision, and materials that hold the line. Storm after storm, year after year. Repairs, replacements, full installs. This is roofing done by the book. No excuses, no shortcuts. GSWP Roofing. Online at gswproofing.com. With us, you're covered.
License number CCC 1335048.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A lot of times people want to catch up, but B, we had Luke Laux on last hour. So if you're just jumping in the car and you missed it, you want to go back and listen to Luke. He was very talkative. Let's react to that. We didn't get much of a chance to do that. You know, I love how comfortable he is, man, and I love the honesty. I want candor when I'm talking to somebody about what is or is not and what is good and bad and everything in between about the situation, and he's willing to do that, just that. You can see where that would resonate with kids that he's recruiting and why that would work with parents and why it works when you're coaching, because being a straight shooter goes a long way, and he is that. So I think it's interesting to me that you could frame the game that they lost the other night to Florida with at least from through his eyes, he felt like they should have won the game and that they didn't do a few things very well, and it cost them dearly. I think a coach is going to believe that all the time. But I'll go back to something I asked him, and it was only one part of the question. But if I told you that you were going to shoot 33%, that you were going to make just 26% of your threes, their goal is to make 35%, 30 to 35%. They also want to take 35 threes a game. So it's a 35-35 thing. They want to be, I mean, obviously, if you can shoot better than that, you'll do it. But the idea with the volume approach is you want to take 35 threes, you want to make at least 35%. So if I told you that they were going to shoot 33% from the field and make 26% of their threes, he probably would have told you we're in deep trouble. And yet there they were. They were 9 of 34 from beyond the arc. They did shoot 84% from the free throw line. That made a big difference for them. They were really good from the line. Unfortunately, it was from the line where, unfortunately, McRae's only miss occurred. And, on the free throw line when it mattered, they're down a point. It's interesting. He stepped to the line, down 2, makes the first free throw. It's right in front of me. It's nothing but net. And he doesn't look in any way shaken or, in any way shook by anything.
Yeah, you were referring to a different time in the second half than I think he took it. He was thinking about the final free throws. Were you talking about an earlier portion where the referee took his time to have a long conversation and he tried to almost ice our free throw shooter?
It was weird, wasn't it?
Yes, that was not the final free throws. That was earlier in the half.
Well,
or it might have been first half. I forget.
No, it's in the second half. But also there were a couple quirky things there. I probably should have done a better job of describing exactly.
5, 6, 7 seconds worth of it, and he's just standing there.
Hey, my man,
and McRae's just waiting. Yeah.
Give me the ball.
He made that one.
Yeah,
but
something to note too, and I don't know if TV caught this, but you will if you go live, and you should, to the TLC on Tuesday. Watch the Great Wall of China that Luke and his staff and assistants have running interference between their sideline and the opposing team sideline late in games when they're in timeout. I don't know if that's something he picked up that is done in the NBA so that people don't know your substitution pattern and they don't know who's going to be in for the final possession. but he had not just assistants kind of standing where you couldn't look into the huddle, but he had guys out in front of that, like 5-6 guys, like the Jimbo towels, just holding stuff up like that you could not see our bench or our huddle at all. And I'm sure that had everything to do with he doesn't want you to know who he's putting in the game.
That is a learned behavior. So at some point he learned the hard way, or somebody that he studied under learned the hard way to not take a chance in that moment.
I think it's an NBA thing. I'm sure that had to have happened.
Well,
They don't want you to know.
He just told you when the free throw exchange is happening, he's studying. So he might know what he would do in that given moment. But you get the jump on things. That's really, really smart, because that is, for a fan, kind of a dead time. Oh, I forgot I got the beers under my seat. Let me go grab the beer, have a sip.
Watch that play out. It's interesting. It makes me laugh because he knows Todd well. And so I'm going to imagine that in that moment when they were in, the free throw was being shot and he's looking down at Todd like, what you got there? Who you subbing in here after the free throw? I need to match up. Yeah.
He needs a spotter like the golf broadcasters,
Yeah.
And there's just like this guy in a Titleist hat and he goes like 22. They're going to get 22. Okay, I need 10. Get in the game.
Well, it's funny that you bring up the golf thing. Everybody knows that is in the industry that the way that Dottie and the rest of the on-course crew understands what club they're hitting isn't because they have the eyes of an eagle.
Right.
It's because the caddy flashes what it is.
The caddy, or there's our spotters. I know a guy who used to do the spotting at the Innisbrook one. And so, like, for example, if you see the Tour Championship, there is a guy who wants you to know that he's doing it. And it's on the 15th. It's that par 3 over the water. And he finds a way to get into the camera shot of even the one behind the golfer, and you'll see like you'll see a 5. Top up, like, this is 5 iron. Like, the guy wants you to know.
Most of the time, the caddies are cool if they respect the on course, and everybody does respect Dottie and Bones, so they'll just flash the 7, flash the 5, and like 7 iron.
I think it's also probably important if you're a group close together, it's the second person that goes. If it's the first one, they don't want the other guy to go.
No.
Or they'll give misinformation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 7.
Yeah. Go ahead and send it over the back.
Why don't you hit your 6 because you don't hit it as far?
No, but I again, a couple of things there. If I had told you that those were the percentages, knowing what we thought we knew or kind of assumed to be the case about what this basketball team would be, then you might have thought, well, this is a terrible matchup for Florida State.
Yep. And
B, if those are the numbers, we're going to get blown out. But defensively, you get out-rebounded 58-36, and you actually had more second-chance opportunities than Florida did for the game. That's amazing, A. B, you held Florida to shooting 39% and 19% from 3. Florida's backcourt is going to be a problem for them. When they get into the better games against the bigger teams, and I don't want to dismiss us because we played great. But, we played hard and played tough. But Florida is, the defending national champion. So this idea that, you're going to play some other games like they already did in a game they lost to Arizona, where you're going to be able to knock down some shots from beyond the arc. Your backcourt's got to be better. The kid that they have at point guard is a transfer from Princeton. I'm not impressed.
He sure liked to take shots.
Well, he was 1 of 10.
Well, that's the thing here is I do think down the stretch, if I'm going to argue against Florida State, is Florida fell in love with the 3 ball at the end when I think just going to the rim and getting fouled because they were in the double with like 9 minutes to go probably ices the game, but they decided to chuck up some shots and they missed them, and that gave us a chance to get back in the game. Now, they finally hit one from the opposite front row with the one kid who just checked in, and he hits a turnaround 3 from the far corner. You're like, what the hell? It wasn't the one that bounced off the rim and went up in the air and went in. It's the one that puts him back up 4, I think. And it's the far corner. He fires the 3, and of course it drops. I'm like, man, that's such a low percentage.
The one that bounces and then goes.
No, it's not that one. It was a different one.
That one's annoying.
That one's annoying as hell because look, we were in a pretty good spot in the moment. But it was akin to the difficulty of the McRae shot at the end, where it's kind of corner-ish, and you're not fully, your feet aren't underneath you all the way.
Don't love that shot, no.
But we got back in that game after Florida went on what seemed to be the nail in the coffin run because they got a little greedy with the 3 ball, and that was good. The thing I would say, though, generally speaking, that you were in that position in the first place with those numbers the way that they are, and you found a way to compete, gives me so much hope.
Sure.
For the drop-off won't be that big. When we don't have it, we can find different ways. Like, that's what I'm learning quickly about this team is that wasn't, wow, they gave Florida everything they got, and they hit 17 three-pointers, and they still lost. It wasn't that kind of a game at all.
Forced 18 turnovers. You had 9 steals. I mean, you did some things there. I was glad he brought up the assist because they didn't have a lot of assists per basket. Nope. So that speaks to a lot of one-on-one situations.
And it speaks to Florida being able to deny the three-point shot. They can extend out. I mean, it's like going against us in our heyday with Leonard. There's just so much length at every position, 1 through 5, that if you think you're going to get a kick-out 3 and it's not going to be contested or just outright blocked, then you got another thing coming. And that's where we found different ways. We kind of had to go isolation ball a little bit, but he's right. McCrae's first half, no good, but he found a way to get into a good rhythm in the second half, and I think that's going to suit him well for when we have to have a basket.
Yeah, I think he had 21 in the second half, 8 in the first. So, yeah, that's about right. Trying to get a sense of what he could do and couldn't do, and obviously that was a big game for him because he had a chance to – I'll be honest with you. He had a chance to make himself some money. The kid that was guarding him is an NBA player. So the thought being, like, show out here, you got a chance. And I imagine you take that kind of – he was just in Jacksonville. I mean, this is a lot of pressure, right? You're trying to put yourself in a position to live out a dream.
I forget who we were talking to around the old basketball program. Man, it might have been Adrian. But speaking about how when you go up a level, even if you're a one-and-done type player, even if you're a lottery type player, let alone a transfer from Jacksonville or somewhere else, that when you realize that the person across from you is on another level athletically, it is a learning curve. Even for Scotty Barnes, it was. Even for Beasley or Patrick Williams. Like, all these things you used to do that you could default to that work, they are not going to work against a team like Florida. And that's where scheduling this difficult for Luke is going to pay dividends in the ACC schedule. Like, we could even enter ACC play with a pretty ugly non-conference record. But we're going to be so ready for that challenge. I think we got a chance to compete for the upper half of the league because of all the stuff that they're going to go through and all the lessons they're going to learn.
Yeah, I was talking with another basketball guy who was saying, look, if this is how they're going to play, the way they played against Alabama and the way they played against Florida, if they play that hard and that scrappy every night, there are going to be nights that those shots fall, so they'll just straight up beat people's asses when that happens. There are going to be nights where they don't hit those shots, but they'll be in those games because of the way that they play and how hard they play on defense despite playing at the pace that they play on offense. Then you're going to be a team of consequence in this league in year one. Yeah. Again, you have some rosters that are suitably paid for, like Dukes and North Carolinas, but still.
The last thing I thought, just in terms of the luck of the game, I thought we were a little unlucky on the glass. A lot of Florida's misses, specifically at the free throw line, were long rebounds.
Yeah, back iron misses.
They have to go 8 to 10 feet away from the basket.
It's funny. Early in the game, we went for a defensive rebound, and it was a body-to-body play in which our guy went flying. I won't say who it was, but he got knocked halfway off the court. And immediately I went, this is going to be a tough night. This is going to be a problem because of that. The front court for Florida is so big. And when you're standing there looking at them, you're like, these are giants. I mean, they're not just tall. These are big dudes. And you do bounce off some of those guys. But then there we were. So you're right. It was ominous in the moment. Didn't turn out to be.
Even in the first half, there's a segment in the first half where they pull away to a 6 or an 8-point lead, and then we tie it right back up. And at the end, they go on that run, and the building's going nuts. And you feel like, oh, well. You know what? Hats off, Knowles. 32-35 good minutes of basketball. I got to equate my times.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, just don't have enough to get us over the finish line, especially when we're in that kind of foul trouble. And they respond in the last 3 minutes as well. If they've got that kind of heart, because their stamina is going to get better as the season goes along. That is a different type of tired. That's like a pitcher who goes through a stressful inning. Not all 70 pitch outings are the same.
Right, exactly.
That was bags are loaded the whole night. You really had to be in the pressure cooker.
Speaking of which, so my boy won the Cy Young.
I figured I'd tee one up for you.
I wasn't going to go prattling on about Skeens winning the Cy Young. It seemed like a foregone conclusion, and it ended up being.
It was.
Yeah. He's special, and I'll tell you what I like about him, and I would like this about a guy if he were on another team not named the Pirates. Frankly, any guy that was this good on any small market team, that was awesome what he did after winning. coming out and saying, hey, I don't know where this reporter is throwing out these storylines and rumors that I want to go to the Yankees. He's like, I've never said that, not to anybody, not on or off the record. I have no desire to do that. I want to win in Pittsburgh. I love these fans. I think I want to be part of the group that changes the way that people think about the Pittsburgh Pirates. He said that. And
did you do overnight or standard delivery for your Skeens jersey?
But as soon as he said it, I was like, there you go, Paul. Show up every fifth day. You work hard. You care deeply. You don't say dumb things about the fans. You don't say dumb things about the city. He loves the city. He's fallen in love with the city. How couldn't they? They love him. But, I mean, it's just refreshing. I mean, it doesn't mean he won't someday end up with the Dodgers or Yankees. I mean, we know how the game is played. But the fact is he's under, his first deal with Pittsburgh. He's got at least 2 more years. So, we'll just see if the owner, Robert Nutting, bothers to spend any money on offense, because if he did, he has a rotation that will be top 3 in the league next year. I mean, you brought up Bubba Chandler. He was dominant as soon as you got him up at the end of the year. If Mitch Keller's your 3 or your 4, you're pretty good.
You're not just screwing around.
Yeah, you're pretty good. So it's cool. Hey, that's all. That's the little nuggets here and there that I get. College football's bowl games, something I want to talk about here in a second. We're moving rapidly towards a time where there may not be bowl games, Tom. And I'm not in love with that.
Okay.
Or far fewer bowl games. I'm not in love with that.
I'm chewing on that because I think there could be a future for the bowl games, especially where there's a will and people who wear.
There will be a will, you would assume.
People who wear bowl coats and make, 6-7 figures a year. There's a will for those dudes to keep collecting their checks.
The reason it's coming up at all and the reason it's a conversation is because the college football playoff only has until December the 1st to inform ESPN whether and by what form it will expand beyond 12 teams next season, if it does, meaning the playoff. And the SEC and the Big Ten have the authority to choose the system, but they're far apart right now on how to structure it, and it's leaving the bowl games in complete limbo as to how many of them need to exist, could exist, all of that.
As you recall, one of those major dominoes fell, though, when you had the SEC agree to go 9 games, because that was considered one of the points of contention, and the Big Ten would, in turn, concede a little bit on the playoff format front if the SEC would even it up and go to 9 conference games. So maybe some of that has happened, but they still might have a couple of things left, like AQs and automatic bids and all that stuff. I love the Rhett Lashley model. It's oversimplistic and certainly not in the SEC or the Big Ten's interest.
But it was pretty solid.
4 AQs for every league.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
There's your slots. And then play for the final spot in December in your conference championship weekend.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.
Performance for improved on-road and off-road driving with a sportier race-inspired style. Frontier Pro 4XR has a long list of improved features, like a 2-inch suspension lift with Olin shocks, custom Roush upper control arms, 17-inch Roush wheels with hand-cooked Dynapro Extreme tires for improved off-road handling. Inside and out, titanium finish accents, special badging, and embroidered headrest. And it retains the V6 engine and is designed to enhance off-road performance without compromising daily drivability. You need to see these trucks to believe them. Kraft was one of the first Nissan dealers to receive the coveted Roush trucks. Frontier has been the hottest midsize pickup in America for 2 years, and this Roush Racing trim package takes Frontier to a whole new level. Frankly, the hottest pickup truck in America just got hotter. Come out to Kraft Nissan and see the Pro 4XR for yourself. You'll be a believer.
Game day in Tallahassee starts with energy, and nothing fuels that spirit like Grassroots Coffee brand new End Zone Blend.
That's right. Every cup of End Zone Blend doesn't just taste incredible, it also supports our Florida State Seminoles football program.
Grassroots Coffee knows it's about commitment and being all in. Every sip of End Zone Blend helps push the program forward, supporting the grind and the climb.
So whether you're at home, have a business, or just getting fired up before kickoff, make End Zone Blend part of your game plan.
Support local and our favorite coffee roaster. Order Grassroots Coffee's End Zone Blend today at grassrootscoffee.com. And let's keep driving the Noles to victory.
It's that easy. Drink Grassroots Coffee and help support the Florida State Seminoles. And don't forget, you can get 15% off your first order at grassrootscoffee.com.
Grassroots Coffee's brand new End Zone Blend.
Grassroots Coffee.
Made for everyone.
Loved everywhere.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
On the front lines, fighting the insanity of the woke, it's Matt.
Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
So uncertainty surrounding the college football playoff structure for 2026 and beyond filtered down to the bowl games outside the playoff. The bowl's contractual ties to specific conferences, which inform which teams receive invitations to games, expires after this season. Usually, new deals are completed at least a year, if not 18 months ahead of the final contract year. But with CFP expansion talks approaching a December 1st deadline to make changes for 2026, bowl executives have one eye on their upcoming matchups and others on the years ahead. Quote, story in The Athletic, you want to make sure you're in touch with all the conferences about what's going on and what the future looks like, says Derek Fox, executive director of the San Antonio-based Alamo Bowl. The pregnant pause, a good analogy, because the college football playoff has to make a decision first. So we wait until the decision is made, and then I think people will be ready to go, and certainly thereafter. But college football playoff has a December 1st deadline, as I said, to inform ESPN and what the format's going to look like in the coming years. SEC and Big Ten have the authority to choose the system. Unfortunately, that's the way it works for all of college football. The Big Ten prefers an access-based model in which it and SEC receive 4 automatic bids. The Big 12 and ACC receive 2. The top group of 6 conference champion earns 1 spot, and a committee selects the final 3 teams. The SEC, meanwhile, favors extending the current tournament setup with the top 5 conference champions and the remaining 11 teams selected by the selection committee. Well, I would think, based on the rankings that I see now, that I know why. There'd be 5 SEC teams in this current setup. They think they can do better. Certainly that committee seems to think that it's the SEC that hung the moon. Now, this is a bad year to try to counter with, hey, the ACC would hang in there with the SEC. Nah. Not really. This league sucks. And they did themselves irreparable damage last weekend. That was huge. You could not have the losses that they had. Duke losing to UConn is a touch.
7-3 UConn team.
toughie when Duke is and by the way, that's just UConn's latest ACC victim. The longer this goes on, the further away the ACC will drift from the Big Ten in the SEC because the money differentials will continue. And you'll see this. I understand what we've worked out, but we can't get our head out of our ass to do anything about it. But the leagues do not spend as much.
It does not smell well in here.
No. These are tough times, Tom, as we've talked about before. And it is my great hope that something is done. Something is done soon. It'd be nice to hear it.
Well, and perhaps that's something I can ask you for solving for the future today, is we now can look at the calendar. You can do so on November the 13th and say a month from now, Florida State will be not only done with the season, but Florida State will be a week after the signing period or 6 days after the early signing period for football closes. They going to do this thing? You getting any more nervous about a lack of movement or whispers or anything like that? Or is this just the same feeling that you had a week ago and 2 weeks ago, which is, well, he's done. It's just a matter of when they decide to announce it to the world.
I think he's done, Tom. I've said that all along. I don't have a sense either way of when it would be announced or how it's going to be announced. And I can't say definitively that I know that they're working with somebody, that they've got a coach in mind. I don't know those things. I've tried to ask around. I've certainly been knocking on the doors that remain closed. It is very frustrating. I do believe that a big part of this decision is not in the athletic director's hands. So that makes it harder to kind of know how this is going. Because of what I think is going to happen for the remainder of this season, and there are only 3 games to play for Florida State, I don't think there's a scenario where you can bring him back.
You're saying that, yes, the decision is going to be taken out of their control, and so therefore it is a default. The sad thing is that by definition, that means that Stanford wasn't enough on its own as the 4th consecutive loss, and the fact that it was to Stanford. It wasn't enough for it to be it. So when they decided not to move on him after Stanford, that wasn't the decision being taken out of their hands, and so therefore they had to move on. They were still hoping. They decided not to move on it because they were hoping that there would be a rally for the ages that would see that Stanford be rendered irrelevant when it came to the firing. And that's disheartening, if that's true, that Stanford wasn't enough to do it, because that is so special, that loss. It really is. That's what I'm going to hold dear until my final no loving breath. Like Stanford, 25. Oh, my.
More than Jack State? More than, like, is that the one that...
It's becoming worse because there was no action behind it. If it's just the football game itself, the Jack State one is, I don't even know that I know the words, because it's the final play of the game, and just, oh my word. And you had McKenzie and Jordan on the field at the same time. Like that.
Oh, a lot of
that
crazy
one.
things there.
And it's Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
But the Stanford one, without the action behind it, it just, I really hope that when they roll out this beautiful plan, the secret plan that they have, that it is head to toe.
Buttoned up.
I mean,
eyes dotted, T's crossed.
I mean,
much the same way that our friends at ISF Solve for the Future, working with state government, overcoming strategy roadblocks, understanding data modernization, setting up frameworks of success in the public sector, Tom. They do so much, local and national. Maybe it is that behind the scenes, it is all being done properly, and that when we get wind of the new plan, we'll say that was very ISF-like. What a collaboration. They
Jonathan,
got it done.
Were you in on this, pal? This has your fingerprints all over it.
All over it. Life Spectator. Is there a Luke Laux wild card type football coach who can replace Norvell on the cheap? Sure. Identifying him is probably the difficult task here. Luke's situation was a little different. You had an aging legend of a coach that was kind of easing out the door. You didn't have a lot of money to spend. You had a guy that, fortunately for us, had played here, bleeds garnet and gold, and who had not only played professional basketball overseas, but then worked in the NBA, built up relationships, gathered knowledge, worked on NBA benches, got to coach with other elite coaches and take it all in. Buttoned up, focused, motivated, but also loves Florida State. Saw an inefficiency in the way that the program was built, knew he had a skill set that could help change that, and hit the ground running because of relationships that he's built over the years in basketball, grabbing Michael Fly, amongst others. Certainly helped in that you could reach out to some of the best within the state and the surrounding locations because of those relationships. Trying to find that kind of a guy who checks those boxes for football, I think, is a little bit more difficult.
You can find somebody in profile, but maybe not in relationships.
You know what I mean?
You could find the youth. You could find somebody who wants to do more with less, even though this isn't like basketball. You're not going to have power low in investment. You're going to have very good investment relative to the bulk of college football. But if you're trying to compete with your peers, you're going to have to get a little creative, I think.
If you look around, there are already guys who fit the mold. I'll tell you, a perfect example of what we're talking about is Brent Key. Isn't that the Luke Laux analogy?
Yeah.
Firing
for
their
them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Firing their coach, didn't have much money to work with. They were able, the only difference is he was already on staff. They elevated him from offensive line coach to head coach, but they did it because they could save money and because he bled blue and gold. He was a offensive line All-American at Georgia Tech. He loves Georgia Tech. So they knew they could get away with paying him next to nothing, and they knew he would go the extra mile because he loves the school. I mean, he does. Listen to him talk about it. He loves the school. It's actually refreshing. It's awesome to hear. Unwavering love and support for that institution. So he was going to lay it all on the line, and you were going to get his best ever because he knew this was his one shot. Turns out you happen to have a really good head football coach on your staff. He was right there all along. Really good. It, I think, is going to be proven true with Luke. We're going to be like, turns out, going and getting the guy that played here and cares deeply about this place and had a plan, that's going to work out. I don't know who that is in football, but they exist. There are lots of guys that know the game of football.
There's no doubt that Brent Key is a really good coach and is drawing blood from a stone in the moment at Georgia Tech. I do want to see what his program looks like without Haynes King, though. Can he replace that player?
Well,
and if not, if you can say that, well, that's a tough guy to replace. All right, can he build around that offensive line that he will prioritize and find a way to be back at 8-1 with somebody not named Haynes King, who is all things to that offense?
Yeah, maybe not. But at Georgia Tech, if you go 8-4, you had yourself a fine campaign. And if every year we're juggling between 7-5, 8-4, and 9-3 for Georgia Tech, he'll be there for as long as he wants to be there. And that's about the best you can hope for, probably.
Yeah, agreed. Where if everything comes together, you're a playoff contender.
Right,
yes.
right,
But that's where I'm saying, like, well, let's pump the brakes on that top 10 Georgia Tech thing because that might be a Haynes King deal and not necessarily a Brent Key.
What they do, though, and they will because it's after his image and it's the way he builds something, they're going to hit and they're going to be physical and they're going to play that way no matter what. Optimus Klein, with the lack of viable coaching candidates, are we wanting a proven coordinator from a big boy program rather than grabbing a successful G5 head coach? I have no idea their plan, man. And I, for one, and I've said this, I don't really care which one it is at this point. I think there are diamonds in the rough out there, and I don't know if we know that, hey, we hire this coach, it's guaranteed to work or not. I think that's kind of where we're stuck. I got to explain something really quick. I'm sorry, I'm running a little late here. This next segment that we're going to go to is from yesterday when I was planning on coming in but didn't because of the situation. I talked to our very own Matt Lasser, who was previewing the 3 guys that we signed for a warchant.com report. Those guys have subsequently signed, so this is 24 hours dated, but you're going to hear it next as I have a 4 o'clock segment I have to do. It's known as Coach Speak. It's going to happen, but I got to get out of here to do it. So that interview yesterday from our own Matt Lasser is coming up right now in about 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, we got to leave in 10 seconds. But check out our channel after that interview for the full Matt Lasser basketball signing day special.
Great.
He did a great job.
Yeah, he did a great job. So good stuff here. Get more familiar with those guys. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A woman is behind bars after a man was shot in the head on Catawba Street Monday night, according to Tallahassee police. Priscilla Barnes, 24, faces a charge of attempted homicide in connection to the shooting. She made her first court appearance Wednesday, where she was denied bond. Her arrest comes after the incident transpired just before 11 p.m. Monday in the 4000 block of Catawba Street. Barnes and the man were arguing that night just before police said the 24-year-old woman shot the man in the head with a handgun. The bullet did not penetrate the victim's skull, and he remained conscious and alert. Moments later, Barnes called 911 and was detained as soon as officers arrived at the scene. The man was transported to a local hospital where he is expected to survive. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Tallahassee weather report.
From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm Ryan Gold. While highs lately haven't been getting out of the 50s, for today, we expect to be in the low 60s. Skies will remain mostly sunny to totally clear, and the warmth will last through the rest of the week. As we head home from work, temperatures will be in the low 70s and upper 60s. From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Life doesn't slow down after 55. It just changes. The moments may look different, but they matter just as much. Maybe you're celebrating family milestones or taking that trip you've always promised yourself. At Capital Health Plan Center for Healthy Aging, your My Vitality plan helps you stay ready for it all with personalized care and support built around what matters most to you. Because there's still so much ahead. Call 850-399-9039 to learn more.
Real Talk 93.3 and the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce proudly welcome this month's newest chamber members. Businesses making a difference right here in our community. Ben Clark CPA and Advisory Services LLC. Janny King of Tallahassee. Preferred HCM. Ronald McDonald House Charities of Tallahassee. Smalls Sliders. Theater Tallahassee. And Tallahassee Pulmonary Clinic, PA. Thank you for investing in Tallahassee and growing local with the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce. Find out more about chamber events and membership at talchamber.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Our bonus hour, Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. We're going to change it up this hour here because we wanted to bring in our own Matt Lasser. He too was at the game last night. Matt covering recruiting for us, really everything for us, doing a lot of stuff at Warchant.com. Of course, you guys know that all over the basketball right now. He was in attendance last night. Let's bring him in right now. It's early signing day for Florida State basketball, and we're all excited about this. Matt, the last time we talked about these individuals, these players that we're going to gloss over here, we were both, or at least I was in shock, and the way I asked you the questions was, how are they doing this? Because these are big-time players that they expect to get yeses from today, and it seems to me that that's got the juices flowing for Florida State fans, realizing that perhaps a bit of the cavalry is on the way. Do we anticipate today that all is well still with all three of these guys?
Yeah, as of now, I expect there's going to be one. The first one will probably be Brandon Bass Jr. Their ceremony's at 3:30. The rest, I'm not sure on the times yet. Obviously, since this is pre-recorded, they could have already signed already, but as of now, we're not really sure. But we do expect all three to sign with Florida State today. The fourth being Jason Lopez is a football recruit, so he's expected to sign on football signing day since all of his NIL scholarship is all through them. But your main three important ones, Brandon Bass Jr., Marcus Ponder, and Colin Paul will all be signing that dotted line today, which is huge.
Centers are always sexy. Most people would want me to start with that. I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to start with the guy you mentioned first, Brandon Bass Jr. For people who don't know, this is a young man that was heavily recruited by Purdue. That's right, Purdue. And Florida State looks to get a yes today from him. That's an amazing accomplishment for Luke Glauks, Michael Fly, the rest of this staff, if it happens. Give us the lowdown on that young man and your expectation of what he's going to be for Florida State.
Yeah, not only did they beat out Purdue, who obviously was in the national championship only a couple years ago and has made it to at least Sweet 16 like last 3 out of 4 years, but they also beat his dad's alma mater, Brandon Bass Sr.'s NBA stars, LSU. So it was out of all the recruitments, that was the one where it was truly a head-to-head battle, right? Marcus Ponder was like, you had the assistant coach's brother and all that kind of stuff. We'll go into more in that a little bit, I'm sure, but this was the one where they really went head-to-head with some powers and won out. Obviously, Brandon Bass Sr., NBA guy. Luke did not know him when he was in the NBA. Their paths didn't really cross at all. But once they started talking through this recruitment, they realized they had a lot of mutual friends. Obviously, NBA circles run pretty tight. There's not many people who have NBA jobs or played in the NBA. So that helped a lot in this one. And then also Windermere Prep head coach, name's Coach Hoff, played at Florida State with Luke. And that was a huge connection here too, obviously. So a lot of familiar stuff went on in this recruitment. From what I heard is one of the first recruiting trips that Laux made around the state to Orlando. It was of this big dinner with the Bass family himself. I believe Hoff was there as well. And they ate dinner and it lasted like 3 hours and it was great conversation. And that kind of hit it off in this recruitment. That's what set the tone. And Florida State ended up winning out in the end after that visit for the Alabama game. And as we go on for, a lot of stuff, but it worked out really well. But he's going to be a really good player for him. Sorry, I need to go down to my notes of.
He's 6'4", off guard, right? That's kind of what he is. Yeah. Look, with that skill set, with Dad's skill set, I mean, obviously everybody was very, very excited. When you're recruited by the names on the list that you just alluded to, obviously you're talking about an elite player. And for Florida State to get an elite player ranked where he is right off the bat, you can see the effectiveness of those recruiting pitches. Being a former NBA guy, Luke is really connecting with people about the idea of getting people to the league and training people in that way. You and I have discussed that. It resonated with Brandon Bass. It also resonated with Marcus Ponder. Marcus Ponder is a giant. You've stood next to him. I've stood next to him. Well, maybe not right next to him, but we've been in the same building at the practices. Yeah, we've seen him. He's a true giant. And Florida State right now, in watching the game last night, it's pretty evident they're going to have some issues with the bigger front courts that they face. But help is on the way, and in a big way, in the form of Marcus Ponder, who is nicknamed Baby Shaq. That's all you really need to know. I mean, this is that kind of size. Florida State will hold their own for a year, but they're going to be getting a guy that will do more than that when he arrives. Marcus Ponder, we think, still a go, right?
Yep, still a go. Nothing to show he's not. He actually posted on his Instagram story yesterday a countdown clock to signing day with him, all the pictures in the uniform. So doesn't look like any wavering or any funny business happening there. But yeah, I mean, I think you would agree with me on this. That kid's a day one starter, man. Like, there's no way he's not. It's a hole that needs to be filled, especially look, you saw they could hold their own against teams like that are much bigger than them, like with UF. But still, look at that rebound differential. That comes down to size and mainly size only. They fought for him, but it's just too hard. And that's a hole that they need plugged. But as you said, and Marcus Ponder is going to be perfect for that. And just his athleticism. He's actually also lost a lot of weight recently. He was up above 300 pounds at one point, and now he's listed at 275. And I think that's going to help him play in this fast system, right? Like, you can't have you can have big dudes, but you can't have a huge dude running up and down the court like that. Like that, those just don't mix, right? Like, you're not having an offensive lineman run around all the time. He slimmed down, and I think that's going to help him. But he's also played in a fast system at Gillian Academy for a few years now, and West Oaks. So he's used to that fast pace, and I think he's a perfect fit.
Well, I think, what's fun, Matt, is talking about it as we try to frame who this kid is for people who haven't seen him and are kind of wondering about body types. When it comes to bigs, it is very rare to find guys who are of that size 6'11", 275 as he slimmed down now, down under 300 pounds, that look athletic, that are comfortable in their body. Early on in careers, you'll see guys that are effective solely because they alter shots at their size. They're long. They can rebound almost by default because of that size. There's a difference between a guy like that and a guy like Marcus Ponder, who has good footwork, who is athletic, who is a guy who's comfortable in his own body already at this age, a guy who, as we know from watching the highlights, likes to dunk on people, wants to thunder on your head, is a guy who is attacking because he's not awkward, right?
Yeah, he's called Baby Shaq for a reason, right? I mean, it's different because you're a lot older than me. I think of Shaq as this big fat guy on TV now. I never got to see him when he was that slim like Marcus Ponder is. So, yeah, I mean, I've seen the highlights, so it's a lot like that, the way being able to do it all. Like, he's a perfect fit for this system, in my opinion, and you know, the connections also really helped here with, I mentioned it, assistant coach Gerald Gillian's brother, Kenny Gillian, is his high school head coach. And just from talking to people in the program, that was a guy who was brought up day one, like when they got on campus, was probably their number one priority recruiting-wise, high school recruiting-wise. The second Laux got the job and the second Gillian was hired on. And they clearly made a priority. It was their first major commitment, and that's going to be their biggest one in this class too.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
You talk about you talk about jaded. I'm so jaded that the first practice I went to, I'm sitting there talking to Michael Fly. I don't really know him very well. We're getting to know each other a little bit, and I'm like, come on, man. There's no chance we're getting this guy. I'm like, who are we kidding? You're not getting a center that Kansas wanted. You're not, you know what I mean? Like, Kansas wants Marcus Ponder, amongst many others. I'm like, you're not getting that guy. And he's like, oh, no, we got him. He's coming. And he just unequivocally, he's like, oh, no, he's coming. Don't worry about it, Jeff. We got him. And I was like, man, it would be so refreshing to juxtapose if it happens today. And like we said, Matt and I had to pre-record this segment for the purposes of scheduling today. So we're going to presume that this all plays out the way that we wanted it to, and it may have already. But something to note here, and I'm not trying to take shots, it's just the reality. Won't it be something that the 4- and 5-star kids that you got verbals from previous actually follow through on signing and say yes? Because Lord knows another program that we cover carefully has had a real hard time closing the deal on those caliber players.
Yeah, it's a lot different in basketball, I guess is the way to say it. You don't get a lot of these flip-flopping and all that kind of stuff that football does. Now, eventually, will that happen? Probably, because there's money thrown around everywhere in every sport now. But it is refreshing to be able to close out and to be able to get to this point. And also, I didn't even realize basketball signing day was this early until a couple weeks ago. It's good to get them in the fold right now. And now you don't have to worry about it. You move on to the next cycle now, and you can keep recruiting. By the way, they've already been recruiting for the next cycle. They've had multiple kids on campus for football games the last few months. So they're in a good, like, they're not showing to be slowing down in this recruiting thing. And I think Laux has proven to be really good at it. He hired the right people like Fly, Gillian, to be really good at it. But also, we forget, and I remember when Ira did his roundtable thing when he first got hired, he was in medical sales before he even was a coach or went back to playing professionally. So why didn't we think this guy was going to be good at recruiting when he was good at his job as a salesman before, but in between basketball, right? So it's really good to see, and I think Laux is going to continue to be good as he gets pushed in the right direction by Fly, Gillian, and all his other assistant coaches.
Well, I think it's a good point to make here is that he's incredibly charismatic, but, you know, you go from, just to highlight what you said, so if you're in medical sales, you might believe in the product or you might not. You have a job to try to obviously sell it. He 100% believes everything that he is
100%.
trying to teach and sell to these kids in his pitch because he's seen it work. He's of that place, professional basketball. He was in a professional organization that is the envy of the sport at Golden State. He then moved upwards on the bench as a coach, eventually in Sacramento. This is a guy who was the head coach of a summer league in the NBA where you got real dudes going to war with each other. So this is an easy thing for him to sit down, I think, and pitch because it's not some other product that I'm now representing.
Yeah.
It's a product that
100%.
I was part of, right?
Yeah, and you're going to have like guys like De'Aaron Fox that he's super close with that might even come train in Tallahassee in the offseason. Like, can you imagine having to walk into your facility one day when you're going through preseason workouts? Oh, but you can shoot around with De'Aaron Fox. Maybe Steph Curry comes. I mean, we all saw the video of him showing off and Steph Curry FaceTiming him at ACC tip-off media days, whatever it's called. So, yeah, I mean, these kids love these connections, man. Like, when you can pull up Steph Curry on the phone or any of these guys, it obviously helps. And I got to see Luke's new office set up the other day. He's got those signed jerseys. He's got Steph Curry that says "For Luke." Like, he's got them all out there for everyone to see.
You're damn right. You got to use what you got, buddy. Yeah, man. If I was friends with Steph and De'Aaron Fox and these guys, yeah. Like,
you wouldn't hear the end of it from me if I was. I'd be like, yeah, I talked to him the other day. And
the other day, I'm sorry I couldn't get back to you. I was on the phone with Klay Thompson for an hour. He just wouldn't stop talking. It was forever and a day. All right, one last guy, Colin Paul. Another superstar we haven't talked about yet, right?
So this was it was kind of a weird one. This was 100% a Michael Fly recruitment. So it started off, he offered him at Jacksonville University when he was there a few months ago. And he was consistent and kind of recruited him like if he was at a major power school. Now, realistically, was the kid ever going to Jacksonville just because Michael Fly's there? Probably not. But Michael Fly moves to Florida State, moves to a Power 4 program. In my opinion, that changed this whole recruitment, right? Fly already had the connection. He had built that up over probably a few years by now. But now you're at a major school. Now, on paper, the only school they beat out for him was Loyola Chicago. I know it doesn't sound great, but that was the only place he took an official visit to. But you had Miami, you had Georgetown, you had other major programs in talks with him. Just the relationship with Fly here was so strong that it didn't mean anything. That he took that visit to the Alabama game, the Alabama football game a few months ago, and that was it for him. That's when they went on that string of commitments, which, by the way, I think they went 3 for 4 out of the guys who visited that weekend or something like that. Like the hit rate on that official visit was insane, and they finished second for the last one in Kevin Thomas. So the recruiting right now for Luke Laux is insane.
Yeah, Luke probably looking over at that football team saying, thanks for the help back then. Can we get it together here?
Yeah.
Every coach in Florida State that I've ever talked to, from golf to volleyball to tennis to basketball, will tell you that everybody recruits better for every sport if football doesn't suck. Sorry, I keep coming back to that. Anyhow, those are the three right now. We're excited about those players. Matt, thanks for everything you do to cover for Warchant. And we expect to see your report out on all of this here as it happens, right? Video coming to warchant.com and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we'll have a video later tonight once all the guys have signed. I have interviews with our own Irish O'Fell talking about comparing this to whatever the last biggest class was. I believe it was 2015 with Bacon, Terrence Mann. And then
NBA guys,
Yep, and then our national guys, Jamie Shaw, who does all the rankings for Rivals, and Joe Tipton, who does all the graphics for these commitments. And then I think it'll be me and Tom probably for the rest of it. We're also having a story on each kid as they sign, as it comes in, and then we'll have one overall story once they're all in. So, yeah, a lot coming today. A big day for Florida State basketball for sure.
Huge. Fresh off a nice showing. Come out just short on the road against the defending national champions. Be well, brother. We'll talk again real soon.
Thank you.
Yep. Matt Lasser covering Florida State recruiting for us, Florida State football, basketball, you name it. He's there, golf for sure as well. He's a dude, kind of a Swiss Army knife these days. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.